Fox News. That's what President Trump just told reporters who pressed him on efforts to end the war in Ukraine.
We are thinking that very strongly that they both want peace, but they have to get to the table. We're waiting a long time. They have to get them to the table, and I think we're going to get peace.
He says there's a lot of bad blood, but that both sides have to negotiate. Earlier, he criticized the Russian president for a deadly attack on Kyiv, a day after accusing Ukraine's president of prolonging the war by refusing to cede Crimea to Russia. President Trump's comments coming as he meets with the prime minister of NATO ally Norway. Setbacks for the president in court, first in California, and a ruling on sanctuary cities. A federal judge is blocking the Trump administration from denying or putting conditions on federal funds for those jurisdictions. The judge says it's unconstitutional to target municipalities for limiting cooperation with federal immigration officers. In New Hampshire, a federal judge is temporarily blocking the push to end diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in K through 12 public schools. And a federal judge in Maryland is ordering the return of another man recently sent to El Salvador, ruling the deportation of the Venezuelan man violated a court-approved settlement agreement. This after a previous order to bring back an accused gang member, which remains tied up in court. Sentencing day for a mass shooter in Illinois.
It's life in prison without parole for Robert Cremo III, who last month pled guilty to dozens of counts of murder and attempted murder in the Highland Park, Illinois mass shooting during the 4th of July parade in 2022. 7 people were killed, 48 injured.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Cremo did not attend the sentencing hearing or provide a statement. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/today. Ethos.com/today.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our temperature should top out at about 82 this afternoon. Partly sunny skies, maybe a shower here and there. Tonight, clouds, an increase in scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms, especially late evening and overnight, 63. Friday, still looking a bit on the wet side, periods of rain, a couple of thunderstorms, primarily non-severe, 78. Weekends looking pretty good. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
It's time to get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Mark Cox here from my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck, where they've got a great deal for you right now. Mention Mark when you call them, and you're going to get 20% off your next outdoor project, and the options are just about limitless. They will help you design your project if you already know what you want in your backyard, or they'll bring a digital photo gallery and let you see maybe what your neighbors have been doing, and then you can go in and you can pick the project that works best for you. Maybe it's a new sunroom. Maybe it is a pergola a patio, the retaining walls. The list is long. You're going to love working with my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They have financing options available with up to 60 months at 0 interest. And right now, remember, you get that 20% off when you reach out and tell them Mark Cox sent you. All you have to do is go online today to chesterfieldfence.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, I think overall the American people are giving the president his due time to get in here. It's only about 4 months to go in and do what they elected him to do, which is eventually tax cuts. We are continuing to do deregulation, and tariffs are playing one role. But if you talk to people in Main Street, you talk Macomb County, you talk Rochester, New York, these are people that are very supportive because he is reshoring jobs back into the country and prioritizing the American worker and not the worker of Vietnam. So these are all great things. And I'll just remind the American people, the poll that was conducted on November 5th, which happened to be election day, we had 77 million Americans vote for Trump policy. So it's only about 4 months. Give us some time. The economy is looking very strong. Look at inflation numbers, look at jobs numbers. We are just getting started.
Harrison Field, special assistant to the president of the United States, speaking in reflection of Donald Trump's 100 days, which is upon us next week. We have now, that's kind of the honeymoon period for any president, newly inaugurated president. Those 100 days, that's generally speaking where you get the opportunity to get in, get settled. You still have a little bit of the confetti, settling from being in the air after the inauguration. And then after that, we start to move away from excitement about a new administration and every day that passes leaning into the next election, which of course would be midterms. Welcome into the Annie Fry Show. We're grateful to have you here with us. The 100 days upon us next week. If you haven't heard this yet, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. as a part of the White House press pool Monday and Tuesday. This is an amazing opportunity that we got, and Brad's been working hard with the White House to make sure that we're all ready to go. So I will be there Monday and Tuesday to help cover the 100 days celebration. I'm sure it kind of depends on where you sit on that issue, whether or not that's a celebration or just a continuation of the dirge that you'll be living for the next 3.5 years of your life. The YouTube live chat poll, a little bit of a reflection on 100 days in. How are you feeling? How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Too much, too fast? Need to be doing more? It's just right? Or Trump is awful? Kind of covers it.
Not really sure you could be anything else than one of those things.
Well, I appreciate the people that are not center right, or even maybe a few of those center lefts that are like, Trump was better than Kamala and I don't regret not voting for her, or maybe even very secretly voting for Donald Trump in this last election. We got people who listen to the show who hate Trump, and I appreciate that you listen. And when we open the phones, which we're going to do, I think at 1:25 today, to answer this question, if there's one thing I hear from people, and I heard it this morning in an appointment I was at, they're like, I just think I kind of wish he would slow down. And my question to this individual and also to you if you feel that way. Do you actually wish that he would slow down and do less? Or are you tired / intimidated by having to defend all of these different things he's doing at once from the people who surround you that can't stand the man? The 2% right now in the poll who have voted Trump is awful. Because I think if you reflect on the moment, if you weren't seeing, maybe it's your social media feeds, maybe it's in your personal life, maybe it's your coworker that you know, the people in your life that you're kind of stuck with. And folks, you're not stuck with anyone on your social media feeds. Unfollow, unfollow, unfollow. Don't unfriend. An unfriending on Facebook is that's something, in my opinion, that people earn. The unfriend. But the unfollow, that's just between me, myself, and I.
But you are stuck with us. There's nothing you can do to get rid of us.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. Sorry.
Did I just echo? Did you just hear that?
I think Brad echoed you.
Oh, whoa. Was that just in my headphones?
Maybe, yeah.
He was agreeing.
All of a sudden, it was like I was speaking from the heavens. There's nothing you can do to get away from us. Yeah, you sound just like me.
Right.
I'm going to ask you this question right now. And at 1:25, we'll open the phones to y'all who are listening right now. And if you want to stick this number in your phone so that when I say we're going to open the phones, you've got it ready, go for it. 314-241-9797. Like I said, just put that number in your phone and save it as Annie Fry Show. We're trying to open the phones more. We're trying to have more conversations with you. And a lot of times we get people who are first-time callers. We love that.
Mm-hmm.
We want to open it up. There's no pressure. I'm not going to fight with you. If you want to pick a fight with me, I won't start it, but I'll help end it. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's what a lot of people like, is when people call in and then just try to pick fights with me.
You'll not back away from a fight. I know you well enough to know you're not going to back away. So if you want to call in and fight,
unless I know I'm going to get beat, maybe. But I like to have conversation here. We like all kinds of kinds here. We're happy to have you. If you don't agree with what we say, but you like to hang out with us, then when we open the phones, give us a call. If you want to add something to the conversation, we are working hard to make that more possible for you. So at 1:25, a little bit over an hour from now, you can give us a call at 314-241-9797. Do you hear people saying he's doing too much at once?
Yeah, I do. And it's an emotional reaction. And
I think that's the right assessment.
I don't think that means it's a wrong reaction. It just means that it is the emotional response to, oh my gosh,
we're not cut out for this.
So much change happening. I can't keep up with it. And it doesn't mean really that you're opposed to all of it. In fact, taken individually on each issue, a lot of people who would say that would still agree with what he's doing on each individual topic. There's just a lot of movement, and it's big change, big quick.
You've said it before about like the economy stuff. I think you were like, I wish he would have gotten the tax cuts done first.
No, actually, I'm the reverse. I wish he would have balanced the budget first.
That's the last thing that's going to happen.
But I know, but the tax cuts, I'm saying, do it in December. I don't care because it affects 2026. That's what I just don't like, the talking point that you have to get that done ASAP, because
it has to get done before the next tax year.
It just has to get done before December or January.
I believe that everybody looks at the election calendar and thinks that every day that passes is a day it gets harder.
That's fair.
And I really am at the point where you are not compromising your principles if you decide to if you put aside your personal preferences that you've articulated and vocalized quite a bit to get done what Donald Trump got elected to do. Chances are, what percentage of people who voted for Thomas Massie voted for Donald Trump?
It's got to be co-equal. It's the same people.
So if Thomas Massie gets elected over his Democrat opponent, and those people are also supporting, if it's not 100%, it's high. If Thomas Massie got elected by the same people who chose Donald Trump, then in this instance, where every vote matters, you standing on principle and defying what the president is asking to get done to transform the future of this country economically, you're still standing against your voters. I mean, you can make the case either way, 50-50. Somebody is going to have to compromise one way or the other. And there's nothing that Donald Trump can really do to compromise one side to appease the other, because they're irreconcilable as far as the tax cuts go. You've got the Freedom Caucus who's saying you got to cut. And then you've also got the possibility of that dipping into entitlements or defense spending. I mean, cut every single penny of bureaucratic red tape that exists in the defense budget.
Thank you for being bold enough to say that.
Do that first.
Because our side of the aisle, you say the word military and we're like, oh, we can't touch it. You're not actually talking about the military when you talk about those things.
You're talking about bureaucracy and bloat.
Yes, and we've got to address that.
I understand the thought of saying, let's not cut the budget, let's reallocate the budget. Let's buy more bullets and less desk chairs. I understand that. We need some chairs. Send us some chairs. I understand the idea of saying, if we cut the budget, then we're never going to get that money back. You're going to get the money back. You're going to get the money back, especially if you get your economy, if you get your spending in line so that you don't have to be paying all of this interest on debt over the course of years. You're going to be able to invest in the future in the best military that continues to exist in the face of the planet. You got to put yourself on solid economic footing. And if there is waste and fraud and abuse and bloat in the defense budget, get rid of it. And like I said, you can start there, or at least don't hold back on that. Go all in. We need to be smarter about the messaging behind this. We need to be smarter about making sure that people understand, it's like the penny. What is it? What do they call it? The penny, penny plan or something. I think Sean Hannity really kind of pushed this out there. Probably over a decade ago. 1% across the board. Every single line, you get a 1% cut. And I remember Steve Moore saying repeatedly on this show that he was in favor of the Rand Paul plan, which was just go back to 2019 spending levels. Just go pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, we were doing fine. COVID, we bloated everything beyond recognition. Just go back to 2019. It's 6 years ago. We can handle that. Now, inflation is out of control. Whose fault is that? I mean, it's all kind of tied together. We have to tighten the belt, and we have to be able to do what needs to be done, even if it's difficult. And I think that does include the potential of cutting any sort of defense spending that is wasteful. I can only imagine if Donald Trump, this isn't to me, if he wins on tariffs, if he wins on the tax cuts, if he wins on DOGE and finding waste, fraud, and abuse, if he wins on all three of those, that's not an inside straight draw. He's going in with more information, more preparation, more planning than getting lucky and drawing the inside straight. But what will we be able to do with the tax dollars of yours that they're taking, or the tax dollars of yours that they won't have to take, because the tariffs are starting to replace with the external revenue service, the internal revenue service, where the Donald Trump, Howard Lutnick plan is to say that if this is successful by the end, didn't they say by the end of this year, $150,000 and lower wouldn't have to pay income taxes? Wasn't it by the end of this year?
That's the hope.
I mean, that's like a talking point on the table.
Yes.
So the question to you, when you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and in the live chat, you can go again to anniefryshow.com. The current day broadcast is always at anniefryshow.com. You could just watch it there. That's fine. But if you click on the YouTube video at anniefryshow.com, you'll go to the page on YouTube where it is, and you'll be able to see the live chat in the comment section and the poll that's in the live chat. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Are you somebody who's just kind of biting your nails a little bit going, gosh, this is just a lot. I can't keep up with all of this. Folks, we are not made to keep up with all of this. Trump himself is not keeping up with all of it alone. He has how many employees does the White House have to make sure that he is briefed every day on the parts that he needs to know? He has articulated his plan to his team, and they are to go out and set forth that plan in motion and report back to him. It is a lot. It's a ton. But, the other follow-up question is, did you vote for this? Because I sure did. We have the options of too much, too fast, need to be doing more. Some people out there are like, where are the rests? Where's this? Where's that? Some people think that he's not doing enough. And of course, there's the option to choose just right. And for all of you folks who can't stand the man, Trump is awful. You can come vote for that today on the Andy Fry YouTube live chat poll. You can vote Trump is awful. See how many we get. Hans von Spakovksy with us. When we come back, we're going to talk about this case that exists in a Maryland school. And this is the one that has to do with kids being removed from the classroom when certain gender studies and sex education is taking place. Parents want to have the right to remove their kids from this education. And it's at the Supreme Court. That's mind-blowing to me that would even be a question. Parents, side note, take your kids out of the public school system and put them in a school that is teaching the things that you know that you want them to be taught. If you can't afford it, I hope freedom wins at the Supreme Court in this case. Hans will update us when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I don't think you're right for him. Think of what it might have been. Took a bus to Chinatown. Be standing on Canal. Bowery.
Ruler Foods is celebrating you right now. That's always lovely. You know what that means? I'm sure you do. More savings. It's customer appreciation savings event at Ruler Foods. They want to tell you thank you with the biggest discounts of the season. Save on a 16-ounce package of juicy strawberries and pint plump blueberries for only $1.99. And this produce is delicious. We love it in our house. We stock up. We go through it fast. And we can afford to do so when we shop at Ruler Foods. Kroger 80% lean ground beef. For $3.33 a pound, sold in a 3-pound roll. You can pair that with Hunt's pasta sauce, Hamburger Helper. What family doesn't love Hamburger Helper? For quick family meals that won't break the bank. Make sure that you go to Ruler Foods and you understand how they are working to help you save on your total grocery bill. You can put more in your cart at Ruler Foods and be positively influenced to tell other people about, guys, I finally did it. I went to Ruler Foods and Annie was right. Let people know. You don't even have to tell them I was right. Just tell them you discovered it yourself. That's totally fine. Find the Ruler Foods closest to you. Have those savings shipped directly to your door with a delivery. Find it all online at rulerfoods.com.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audion Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audion is easy to trust. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Pride Puppy was the book that was used for the pre-kindergarten curriculum. That's no longer in the curriculum.
That's the one where they are supposed to look for the leather and things and bondage, things like that.
It's not bondage. It's a woman in a leather.
Sex worker, right?
No, that's not correct. No.
I read it.
It's drag queen.
Drag queen and drag
correct.
queen.
The leather that they're pointing to is a woman in a leather jacket. And one of the words is drag queen in the search.
And they're supposed to look for those.
It is an option at the end of the book, correct?
Yeah, okay. And you've included these in the English language curriculum rather than the human sexuality curriculum to influence students. Is that fair? That's what the district court found.
I think to the extent the district court found that it was to influence them towards civility. The natural consequence of being exposed.
Whatever, but to influence them.
In the manner that I just mentioned, yes.
We the people of the United States
More perfect.
in order to form a more perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovksy.
Oh, man, you gotta be asking yourself, Annie, what did you just make me listen to? That's a Supreme Court Justice, Gorsuch, talking with school attorney Alan Schoenfeld about this case, about a Maryland school situation where parents want to have more control over what their kids are being exposed to. Of course, we go to Hans von Spakovksy for this. We're grateful to have you back, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Hans, thanks for being here today. It's good to have you.
Sure, thanks for having me. No, the guy's name is Alan Schoenfeld, but I think you got it right. It ought to be Shamefeld because the position he was pushing was just unbelievable. This was Mahmoud versus Taylor, and oral arguments were held on Monday. And in essence, what happened was the Board of Education in this Maryland county said, you know what, we're no longer going to let people opt out, have parents opt their children out of the kind of sex education that they were pushing. And to make it even harder, they started putting all of these basically gay rights, LGBTQ books into other courses like English language instruction. And one of the books, the one they were just talking about, was called Pride Puppy. And it's a book in which it's supposed to be about the alphabet. And you're supposed to use that. It's a rhyming alphabet book. You start with each letter, and you're looking for a dog in a pride parade. And I think B stands for bondage. You're supposed to look for bondage. And look, this isn't going to high schoolers. These are books being imposed on kindergartners.
Lord have mercy. That is outrageous, Hans. I know that you're outraged by it as well, but I mean, listening to Justice Gorsuch ask these questions, he said something very important there. He said the intent here is to persuade, is to influence, and they pretty much conceded that, correct?
Yeah. Oh, they did, and what's so interesting about this is that, look, this wasn't just Christian families suing. It was Jewish parents, Muslim parents, all objecting to this. And by the way, one of the things that came up in the case was that this school district has opt-out forms for all kinds of other things. The kind of opt-out forms we all normally see for certain kinds of, physical education, et cetera. Oh, but it was too much trouble to have an opt-out form for this. And you know what? When the lawyer was asked about that, they said, well, why do you have opt-outs for all these other programs, but not for this? And you know what he said? He said, well, it's because too many parents were opting their kids out.
Oh, well, you don't say.
Now, you might think that would make them realize that maybe they should reconsider what it is that they're actually doing in this case. But, and some of the things in it, the newest member of the court, Ketanji Brown Jackson, she actually took the position, if you can believe that, well, what's the issue? If parents don't like this, why, they can just send their kids to private school. And I'm like going, well, maybe you can send your kids to private school, and maybe the elitists on the school board and in Washington, D.C. can afford to send their kids to private school, but the vast majority of parents can't.
Man, that's the biggest and best argument I've ever heard. I agree with that. They can go to private school, implement school choice, and then that becomes an option for people, and it doesn't punish people who can't afford it.
No, that is exactly right. It was very clear that the majority of the justices were extremely skeptical about the arguments being made by the school board. I have no doubt that the parents, I think, are going to win this case. But as usual, I have no doubt that Justice Sotomayor, Justice Brown Jackson will vote to say there's nothing wrong with this. How will Kagan come out? With her, I don't know. But you want to see the extremist ideology that is now driving school administrators across the country on these kind of issues. It was all in display Monday at the Supreme Court.
We're speaking with Hans von Spakovksy, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, a former FEC commissioner, DOJ lawyer. I mean, really, too, I think it's very important to point out that nobody is advocating that this book shouldn't exist. Nobody is saying that the book should be banned. What they're saying is it shouldn't be required mandatory literature that is used in a classroom and forced upon kids and families who may not want that to be utilized in their education. It's really about choice. It's about freedom. And it's about say, okay, if you want to get Pride Puppy and take that book home and read it to your kids every night, you have the right to do that. We're not trying to take families' rights away from exposing their kids to this type of stuff if that's what they choose to do. But you don't get to choose what my children have to be required to participate in a classroom just because it's public education.
That's right. And it's not just that the kids are given the option of reading these books. It's been pointed out that, for example, during Pride Month, teachers were directed to read at least one book almost every day of that entire month. And they're given answers that they are directed to give to students, including that if a child, like a 5-year-old, says, well, a boy can't be a girl, the teacher is directed to say, oh, that's not true. So this isn't just trying to tell them, well, there are different ways people live, which is, I think, what the lawyer was trying to argue. This is propaganda being imposed on these young children. And what are they going to do? Argue with their teachers about it? Tell their teachers they're wrong? Well, of course not.
You know, to me that this whole thing is a belief system, because if you look at science and biology, it doesn't exactly sync up with what is being enforced here. That's an argument for a different time, but it is a belief system. And I believe in America that people, if you want to believe that there are 42 genders, okay, it doesn't hurt me for you to believe that. And I'm going to believe something different. And it doesn't hurt you for me to believe that. I can still treat everybody with kindness. But I always in my mind think if it's a belief system and you somehow or another, we have National Lutheran Schools Week, we have National Catholic Schools Week. If you decided to acknowledge a National Christian Week of some sort or other and implement that belief system into the classroom, the exact same people who are pulling their hair out over this issue would be screaming about the indoctrination of this belief system upon their own kids. They've worked really hard to take Jesus and the Bible out of the classroom, and they've replaced it with this. And I think it's completely hypocritical.
Oh, it is. Now, let me tell you, one thing I want to make clear, which is I think the parents in this case are going to win. But what I'm hoping the Supreme Court, the parents have all sued saying that indoctrinating their kids with this ideology violates their religious beliefs. But I have to tell you, I hope the Supreme Court not only says that that's wrong, but that no parent, even if it did, regardless of their religious beliefs, no parent should have their children forced to be indoctrinated with this kind of ideology. Doesn't matter whether it violates their religion or not. And again, just so people understand how bad this is, the book for the kindergartners about trying to find a puppy who gets lost at a pride parade and has, each page focuses on a letter of the alphabet. Well, what are the letters? What are they supposed to be looking for, these pre-Gardner kids? Words such as drag, queen, intersex, and underwear. That's probably more. We're going to get censored, aren't we?
No, I'm going to get censored in the response. The FCC is not going to like what I want to say, so I just swallowed those words right there. Ryan?
Hans, I'm listening to you talk about the way that this case could come down, the ruling could come down. Based on what Elena Kagan was saying, who's clearly not a conservative or constitutional judge, she's a liberal appointee. Based on what she was saying, is it possible that what you're suggesting could actually be the way this court rules on this case?
Yeah, no, in fact, you're absolutely right. I should give Justice Kagan credit for that. Yeah, that's exactly, I think, what she was saying. So I think what may happen with this case is I think we may actually get a 7-2 decision, an overwhelming majority of the Supreme Court on the correct side on this. And I think they're going to say that this violates parental rights in a way that is not based simply on the religious beliefs of the parents.
Han, I hate coming at these things skeptically, but the way, especially Chief Justice John Roberts seems to kind of blow with the wind. Oh, I'm going to go this way on this one, another on this one, to try to look like there's bipartisanship or something. I don't know what he's trying to do. But based on that, are you concerned that if they come out with a strong victory here for the conservative side, you could say, that they would come back with the next couple cases that are sitting in the docket waiting for the big Trump stuff and say, well, we did conservative on that one, but we won't as much on these?
You just raised a worry that a lot of folks have about Justice Roberts, and yeah, that is a concern. And listen, we have a very important case coming up. Just a week or so ago, the Supreme Court scheduled oral arguments on May 15th, the birthright citizenship issue.
Wow, that's coming up fast.
Yes, it has. Very quickly.
Well, Hans, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I know I've been following it a little bit. I have this problem with sometimes these stories like this Maryland school story. They make me so mad that I end up kind of avoiding it because I know I'm going to go in the air and just turn into like a rage machine, and I don't want to do that. So thanks for making me a rage machine today. Just a quieter one. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, Hans.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This just makes me so mad. So
Well,
mad.
it sounds like the ruling's going to come out correct, though.
Yeah, but
The fact that we had to come here.
The fact that we got to stop being, these Maryland kids are being forced to sit in a classroom and talk about underpants with their teachers. Forced.
That's outrageous.
LESA, shush. LESASTL.org if you're looking for a Lutheran school near you. Go ahead.
It was a good point about Ketanji Brown Jackson, that they should use her words to
Is that
say.
your point?
No, your point. You said, well, she's kind of supporting school choice then, isn't she? Which she is. She's saying, well, why don't they just go to private school if they don't want this kind of thing? They should quote that.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to that.
Bring that
interview.
to the next
If
case.
I made that point.
You did make that point.
I think I made the point, but I didn't know she's the one who said that.
Yeah.
I get all worked up, guys. I get worked up, and then half of you email and you're like, oh, worked up Annie's my favorite Annie. And the other one's like, why are you so shrill and yell so much? And I'm like, it's because I'm pissed.
Yeah. I'm the second one.
Sorry.
It's okay.
What?
I'm the one
shrill?
that's like, oh.
Yeah, I know.
Here we go.
All the emails are from you. It really makes me scared in the studio.
And it makes me feel bad when people come up to you and you're like, I love it when you get worked up. Because when you're getting worked up, I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and let you do your thing. And I'm not
hands in the air.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not a part of that.
Yeah, you're usually sitting over there, sitting back, smiling weird.
Because I joke that I'm like, oh, I don't like that one. But I really enjoy it. I'm like, yeah, go.
I just can't do it a lot.
Yeah, I guess not.
We'll take calls at 125 if anyone wants to try to razz me.
Do it.
Don't.
Annie's in a mood. Let's go.
No, I'm not in a mood. I'm tired.
You're about to be real tired.
I'm tired thinking about being tired. Do you get anxious about, do you ever lay in bed at night worried about not falling asleep?
No.
Yeah.
You look at your clock and it's like 12:30 and like, oh my gosh, I get nervous and I need to fall asleep because I got to get up super early in the morning. So then I lay there awake worrying about not falling asleep.
I know that exists. I have never had that problem.
I am not surprised.
There's whatever that chemical is kicks in at about 10:30 and I go,
it's called anxiety.
All right,
bro.
there it is. Off I go.
Yeah.
And I'm out.
It's so unfair. Let's take a break. Wiggins America Next is what?
Yeah, it's things that generational habits that maybe Gen X boomers would have that millennials, Gen Z are not picking up on. So they're going the way of the dinosaur.
All right. We'll do that in Wiggins America Next. The YouTube live chat poll. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? It's too much, too fast. Maybe you think they need to be doing even more. It's just right. Or for all you folks in the back who snuck in the room, you can vote Trump is awful. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living, where your loved one will enjoy chef-prepared meals, engaging activities, state-of-the-art technology, and a welcoming community that feels like home. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. New Perspective, where every day is a chance to live life on purpose.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com.
Noble Gold Investments alert. Gold has surged 46% in less than a year, doubling the gains of the NASDAQ and S&P 500. But this isn't just another rally. Investors are losing confidence in paper gold and demanding physical metal, creating a massive gap between gold owed and gold available. But this isn't about how institutions broke another system. It's about how you can profit from it. Right now, Noble Gold Investments has a limited supply of investment-grade gold bars and coins available. As banks scramble to fulfill their obligations, pushing gold prices higher, you can profit. Smart investors are already moving into physical gold. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy for you to do the same. And right now, when you make a qualified investment, Noble Gold will add a free 10th ounce gold coin to your order. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and turn their panic into your profit. noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Do you think it's too fast, like the end of that last commercial? Do you think you need to be doing more? Do you think it's just right? Or do you think Trump is awful? One of those four are your choices for the question on the YouTube live chat poll today. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? 1246. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Thursday afternoon with Elon Musk announcing he's leaving the Department of Government Efficiency. What comes next for Doge?
The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6. Right here on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Last night I had the strangest dream. I sailed away to China in a little rowboat to find you, and you said you had to get your laundry clean. Didn't want no one to hold you. What does that mean? And you said, ain't nothing gonna break my
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
When's your birthday, Brad?
August 12th.
That song was released August of 1983. So were you.
Released is a good word for it.
It's kind of the song of your life.
Your birthday's in September, and his is in August. I think I said that wrong the other day. Did I?
I don't remember that.
Good, because you would have been super offended by it. I'm sure
Yeah,
it didn't happen.
I don't think it happened. Unless I wasn't here. All right. Well,
Okay.
The intro played, so I guess we'll get back here. Enough of this witty banter. Let's get into the content here.
I'm just waiting for the witty banter to start.
These are things that I'm just going to ignore that. It's my segment.
It's hard to
What
tell,
are you
really.
doing?
He's filling time.
Old-fashioned things that millennials refuse to do anymore, and these aren't really that old-fashioned. That's what's funny about them. Because we sit right on the cusp.
Also, millennials are in their mid-40s.
Right.
Just everybody
Right.
be aware.
So we're right in the center of this thing. So I want to see whether you do these things or you say, no, we need to retire that because millennials and Gen Z are retiring it.
Ender says, don't you mean wiggy banter? Yeah, that's more accurate than witty. Go on.
I don't like that comment. It's not that funny.
I like it, Ender. Keep commenting.
All right, here's the first one. These are weird, but I'm like, well, maybe. Using a doorbell.
I have a doorbell on my house, and it doesn't ring, and we don't know how to make it work.
Really?
Oh yeah, people come. We kind of laugh about it. People come to our house for whatever particular reason, selling something or whatever, and they're out there just pushing the button. We're like, nothing's happening. You can see them on the ring though.
Yeah, you have a Ring doorbell.
I have a ring,
but
no
doorbell.
Ding dong.
Oh, so the thing doesn't.
I have a ring and no ding dong. What I just said.
That's what most girls are like.
Interesting.
Oh, I think I know what I'm making for a reel.
Ethan, knock it off.
Interesting.
Ethan just keeps going. He's
Very
just thinking about it.
Very interesting analysis here.
What does Gen Z
I'm
do
talking
instead
about
of...
my doorbell.
Interesting.
Ethan, what does Gen
you-
Z do instead of
just-
ringing a
I
doorbell?
thought you just said that you don't have those.
They don't go to people's houses because you shouldn't. People shouldn't. You should
Don't go
outlaw
to
that.
people's houses?
What are you thinking? Meet at a neutral location. The people who come on my doorstep and need to be invited into the house, they just know to come in. They have the garage door code, like Brad.
Wait, I don't have that.
Now you know.
Me neither.
Ethan, I'll tell you after the show.
Thank you.
But they say you can just, if you're going to pick somebody up,
Mhm.
you just pull up into the driveway and text here.
Sure.
Nobody needs to
Yeah.
actually come to the door at all.
Is it rude to honk when you're there? Even if someone's like waiting for you, I always feel like you got to do the beep beep. It can't be like, huh? You can't do that.
Depends
But
how long you're waiting.
I feel like it's ruder to do it after you've been waiting for a while. I think it's less rude to pull in and honk honk.
Well, you could argue that it's rude
Toot,
to make someone wait in the first place.
You could have that argument when they get in the car.
I would just say that the more aggressive honk is the beginning of that argument.
That's why it's a toot toot.
It can start as a toot toot, but then once
Yeah, but once you toot toot, you can't honk honk later
why
without
not?
being rude.
What if it's a young man coming to pick your daughter up for a date?
They come to the front door and knock on the door.
Knock on the door.
The young
Yeah.
man would then not have a ding dong.
the one that
No,
doesn't have
I
a
don't-
doorbell.
I don't have a ding dong.
Ryan's setting standards in his head right now.
Yeah.
Young
Yeah.
man, did you try
he
pressing
was
that button?
looking at a fake graph when he said that. Up into the sky.
So much terminology that I'm learning right now.
Mhm.
about-
Toot toot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't mean what you think it is. All right, next one.
It means exactly what I think it means.
You talk about flatulence.
No. So you're the one who's mistaken. It's the biggest word we've said on the show today. Thank you.
Wait, I can't wait till my kids.
Anthropomorphism.
I can't wait till my
Gubernatorial.
kids start dating. That's gonna be great. I'm gonna make a lot of fun of them.
What if they don't tell you?
They're gonna have to.
Yeah, you're
Good answer.
You're,
Good answer.
You're so aware of everything happening around you. Your kids won't have any idea how to sneak the sun past the
You
so-called
gotta remember.
rooster.
You gotta remember. My kids have my genes. They're just like me. They don't know how to hide things.
One of them isn't.
Which one?
Not telling.
It's the girl.
See,
huh?
here's the thing.
That's my assumption.
Annie's so observant, she'll know when your kids are dating.
Yeah. I'll be like, so how's it going?
Well, I need you to tell me. All right.
And then you'll be on it.
Other things that millennials and Gen Z are not doing:
Uh-huh.
writing handwritten letters or notes.
Yeah.
Preferred though, or not? Does it matter?
Makes a difference, but I don't need it all. Like for family, it's nice. It's always nice when someone takes the time to do it. But it's always like, oh, wow. It's always the exception to the rule. If somebody does something especially nice for you out of the blue, it wasn't expected, a handwritten note would be nice.
What about thank you notes? When they all say the exact same thing, you know you're getting a form letter. Does it matter if you get one at all? Different topic, but I wanted to ask anyway.
Like from a person to person or from like an organization?
If you give somebody a wedding gift, you get a note in the mail that says thank you, but it's handwritten, but they're saying the same thing.
I would
every
almost
time.
rather get something from them that is like a note card that has their new home address or something on it, or maybe like a contact So that in the old days when you would move into one place together, maybe a new place, then you have a new address form if you want to have that. But I don't need it to be handwritten at all.
There are some other weird ones here that I want to get to before we're out of time. Using paper napkins. Many millennials are eating their meals on the go, especially on the way to work or dropping their kids off at school. They prefer to utilize paper towels for convenience during meals over traditional paper napkins.
Paper towels.
Plastic napkins.
Paper towels.
I'm like, what are you talking
paper
about? What's the
towels can be
alternative?
plates too.
Yeah, for sure.
You got pizza. You got picked up pizza in the house. Guess what, kids? Get a paper towel.
Yup.
You got to use it for a plate and a napkin.
We never had paper napkins in my house growing up. It was all paper towels.
We have paper napkins in our house, and I will use them. But it's like, where are they?
We
the
only
paper
use
towels
them
are
when
right
the paper
there.
towels are out. They're just there because we don't use them very often.
The paper towels and napkins.
The napkins. Mm-hmm. When we run out of towels, we're like, oh, at least we got a couple of napkins.
Yeah.
Living in a big city. This is something that Gen Z and millennials are choosing to not do.
Too expensive.
It's too expensive. That's the main one. But starting families, that's the millennial age that we're kind of in. Rising costs of living, urban hubs, New York City. People are just moving out of big cities.
Good.
And I think we're seeing the results of that probably in the next census. We'll see that. Maintaining a physical checkbook.
Who does that?
I still write a lot of checks, but I don't maintain a checkbook. I don't write enough checks
I hate
that
checks.
I need to do it.
Do you have a checkbook, Ethan?
No, I don't think so. I've written.
If you do, you don't know where it is or what
checks. I think we've written 2 checks that I can think of.
This one seems pretty obvious, but having or paying for a landline. Does anybody in this room have a landline?
No.
Do you know anybody that does?
I like them. It's just not worth it.
I still remember my number growing up from the landline.
Because my kids have a phone at home that is always going to work, not need to be charged, all of that stuff. But it's not. We have rectified that issue in a different way.
Letting your kids walk to school alone.
Not really in the cards for us.
Yeah, our generation just doesn't let that happen.
They're not. It's not close enough.
Yeah, that too. And the whole daylight savings time thing may affect that too, if we keep it on daylight savings. Hanging out at the mall.
I think a lot of kids still. I think kids still go to the mall. I think it's more. I think it's more than you would expect, but it's not destination stuff. Kids don't have the compulsion to want to connect with one another because they're constantly connected digitally.
It's true.
They don't need to go spend time together. The mall is just simply a destination that you can spend time in and change the scenery a little bit. Kids don't need to do that anymore because they're constantly snapping each other and texting each other and whatever else it is. And I get it, but it's so shallow.
And the last
one,
the
connection is shallow.
Is hanging out really in any public spaces like libraries or even outside on the sidewalk.
I used to love going to the library to do a project or a paper.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was easy to lock in.
It's true. Take away the distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. It's a pretty nice and weird list of things that we are abandoning.
All right. Stick around at 1:25. We are going to take your phone calls on the YouTube poll. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? 314-241-9797 in about 20 minutes. Don't go away.
Step outside and fall in love with your backyard again. From inviting porch overhangs to durable composite decks and cozy screen rooms, Lakeside Renovation and Design creates stunning outdoor living spaces designed for relaxation, entertaining, and making memories. With expert craftsmanship and top-quality materials, your new outdoor oasis will be perfect for every season. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design today or visit lakesiderd.com to get started. Let's turn your backyard into the retreat you've always dreamed of.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game. It's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
There is no better way to enjoy America's favorite pastime than cheering on the Cardinals with your family at Busch Stadium. From the thrill of watching the game to the kid-friendly activities, food, and fun, the ballpark has it all. Make magical memories as you cheer together for every home run, double play, and Cards win. Your family summer tradition starts here at Busch Stadium. Grab your tickets today at Cardinals.com. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Human trafficking is occurring right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of mental or physical abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to Be Free. Together, we can fight human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
KFTK FM Florissant. An Odyssey station.
A sanctuary cities showdown in court. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. And the president loses a round with a ruling that says he cannot deny federal funds to so-called sanctuary cities.
A federal judge in California blocked an executive order from President Trump that denies or conditions federal funds to sanctuary jurisdictions. Judge William Orrick says the order fails to define a sanctuary jurisdiction. In a memo from the Attorney General, intends to severely curtail funds for cities, counties, and states the Trump administration deems to be a sanctuary jurisdiction. Sanctuary policies have mostly restricted cooperation with federal immigration agencies. San Francisco successfully challenged a similar order from President Trump in 2017.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Federal judges issuing preliminary injunctions in several ongoing cases today. Just getting word the administration's being blocked from adding a proof of citizenship requirement to register to vote in federal elections, one of multiple changes being challenged by Democrats and voting rights groups. However, the same judge refused to block a Trump order to tighten mail ballot deadlines. Pushback from China after President Trump said there are active talks on trade.
The Chinese say that they're willing to have a dialogue with the administration when it comes to trade, but in their view, no negotiations have started. The president was asked about that comment. Here's what he had to say.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China.
The White House has yet to say if the president himself will speak with his Chinese counterpart to bring down these trade tensions.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House, where the president's meeting with Norway's prime minister. Discouraging news for the U.S. housing market. Home resales falling about 6% in March, and mortgage rates just hitting an 8-week high. Wall Street's rallying, though. The Dow's up 412. America's listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/today. Ethos.com/today.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our temperature should top out at about 82 this afternoon. Partly sunny skies, maybe a shower here and there. Tonight, clouds, an increase in scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms, especially late evening and overnight, 63. Friday, still looking a bit on the wet side, periods of rain, couple of thunderstorms, primarily non-severe, 78. Weekends looking pretty good. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
History is happening in D.C. and 97.1 FM Talk is on the inside. Our very own Annie Fry has been selected to join the national press pool covering President Trump's 100th day in office.
I'm going to Washington and you're coming with me.
Exclusive access, unfiltered insight, local coverage, and we're inviting you along.
I'm Annie Fry reporting from the White House starting Monday on 97.1 FM Talk.
Annie Goes to Washington is presented by Stewart's American Mortgage and Grasser Electric.
Celebrate April with store-wide savings on all in-stock jewelry at the Diamond Shop. Located at 12 North Central in Clayton. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. Stop in today.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, the YouTube live chat poll for today on Thursday is: how do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Too much, too fast, need to be doing more, just right, or Trump is awful? We always want to include everybody here on the Annie Fry Show. We want all to feel welcome. The votes are coming in on this, and it is, I'll be interested to see how many of our pro-Trump support that we have out in the audience right now feel like he should be doing more. Because I mean, we've heard the criticisms about the arrests. We've heard the people push back and say that there are promises that were made that haven't been delivered on. And at the same time, it's like not even 100 days yet. It's like 95 days into this presidency, and he has been able to do so much and get so much started. Brad, when you look at this question and I don't know if you ever hear people say, like, it's just a lot. He's doing a lot at once. I don't know why he didn't do this first and then go do that. The idea that he is going through this like horizontal integration of all things all at once. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration?
Personally, I like it. I want him to go in and get it. I mean, as long as he feels like he can do it, and to me, I think that they've done a pretty good job of it. As long as they can get done the things that they need to get done, do it all at once. There's a lot of things on that list of things that he has been doing that are directly impacting the lives of Americans. And if he can get that straightened out faster rather than later, to me, that's a big win. Now, if he were screwing things up and making mistakes left and right, it'd be a different story. I'd be like, no, you can't do the whole thing at once. Take the apple one bite at a time. But this, I mean, I think he's doing a great job. I think, so yeah, keep going at the rate that you're going. Get done what you can get done as fast as you can get it done.
Chris on YouTube says about the poll, I said just right. Trump doesn't move at the snail pace the government moves. Betsy says between need to do more and just right. So Betsy's kind of leaning like, I'm happy, but if he did more, I wouldn't be upset about that at all. And Ender said, I'm stuck between doing too much too fast and needs to do more. But I think that's because there are things I specifically want to see done that aren't being touched yet. If he gets everything done in the first 6 months, everything's going to be about the
sesquicentennial?
Sesquicentennial.
Now that's the biggest word, not flatulence.
How much will you pay me if I use that word in my question at the White House?
Flatulence?
No. Sure. How much?
Everybody has a price.
1 to 200.
I'll just make it about green energy and put cow in front of it.
I don't like that. It has to be human flesh.
It'd be awesome. It's like making a wish with a genie or the monkey's paw.
In no related conversation here, let's go to the White House. The president is meeting with is it Prime Minister of Norway?
I believe so.
All right, let's listen and see what they have to talk about. Of course, there's probably some trade negotiation going on here, but let's listen in.
We want to end that war. We want to end it quickly, and I think we've made a lot of progress. And we'll see what happens. This next few days is going to be very important. Meetings are taking place right now. Additionally, we talked about trade, and we get along very well on trade. We'll do something, but I think the Prime Minister knows that over the years, the United States has been very good to a lot of people, and it's time for us to benefit also. So we're going to have a good relationship on trade, and we discussed other things also. But Mr. Prime Minister, it's an honor to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This year is 200 years since the first immigration from Norway to the U.S. We come here early in your term. Appreciate that you take time. We have highlighted that very close cooperation. We are allies. We look after security in the north, in the Arctic. A lot of confidence between our services. We have discussed in detail the war in Ukraine. I have saluted the president for his initiative to make progress towards something that can be a ceasefire and an end to this terrible conflict. It is a complex picture, but it needs political will and push. And we have exchanged ideas on that. And then I think the president and his team have been open to hear our perspectives. And on trade, we have also emphasized that we can benefit, both of us, by trading. We can be complementary, and we can find good solutions. But first of all, I appreciate, Mr. President, the spirit and the tone of this conversation, which has been confirmation of a very strong partnership.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any questions?
Yes. First, Mr. President, have you spoken about the tariff that you want to impose on Norway? Is there a chance that you can lower?
We spoke about trade, and we understand each other very well. I think we'll have no problem.
You think that you will get an agreement?
I think we'll have no problem whatsoever with Norway.
Mr. President, a possible visit to Norway? Did you discuss a possible visit for President Trump?
We didn't, but I love it. I mean, I've been there, and it is a beautiful place. They have.
But I told the president that, he is receiving us early in the term. He's welcome to visit Norway. We would like to have him, and it will be another way of emphasizing this strong friendship.
Mr. President, Norway has been a staunch supporter of Ukraine since the Russian invasion in 2022. Has something been discussed here today that may have altered your views on things?
No, we want to, very simply, I have no allegiance to anybody. I have allegiance to saving lives, and I want to save a lot of lives. A lot of young people, mostly young people. It's the war. It's the soldiers. And if we can do that, also, as you know, I got started because the money that's been spent on this war is insane. It should have never happened. And it would have never happened if I were president. But Biden spent $350 billion on this, and it's a shame. And that's what got me involved. And then I looked at, and I see the results. It's horrible. It's a killing field. 5,000 soldiers a week on average. And we want to stop that. We both want to stop that for a lot of reasons, but I would say that is my number one reason.
Do you think that you will get Russia to accept a deal that also Ukraine and Europe is willing to?
I think so, yeah. I do. I believe they will accept, and I think we're going to get this over with. I hope so, soon.
You continue to lack support from NATO allies in your goal of obtaining Greenland. How will you proceed if you don't get that support?
Well, Greenland's going to be interesting, but that's for another day. I think we need that for international peace.
What are you expecting of your
allies? And if you don't have that, I think it's a big threat to our world. So I think Greenland's very important for international peace. Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. President, this morning in Truth Social Post,
you used the words Vladimir, stop. That seemed like a slightly different message, a personal message. What is your level of frustration with President Putin?
I didn't like
at this
last
point?
night. I wasn't happy with it. And we're in the midst of talking peace and missiles were fired. And I was not happy with it. That's what I meant. And that's, you know, what it is. I assume that's what you mean.
Sorry.
Yeah.
If the bombs keep falling, will you consider additional sanctions toward Russia, or what will you do if President Putin
I'd
does not
rather answer
respond?
that question in a week. I want to see if we can have a deal. No reason to answer it now, but I won't be happy. Let me put it that way. Things will happen.
Mr. President, why are you not putting more pressure on Russia? I know a lot of Europeans.
Putting a lot of pressure. You don't know what pressure I'm putting on Russia. They're dealing. You have no idea what pressure I'm putting on Russia. We're putting a lot of pressure.
Can you maybe tell us that?
We're putting a lot of pressure on Russia, and Russia knows that, and some people that are close to it know, or he wouldn't be talking right now. The Prime Minister understands that better than anybody. He wouldn't be talking right now. He's talking, and we're putting a lot of pressure. I think he wants to make a deal. We're going to find out very soon, but it takes two to tango, and you have to have Ukraine want to make a deal too, and they're being hit very hard, and I do believe they want to make a deal.
Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, if I may.
You've said that the Ukraine have to give some territory to win peace, among them Crimea. Do you stand by that? And I know that the former NATO General Secretary today has told you that he does not agree, and he believes in territorial integrity of the Ukraine. How will you deal with that with your allies? And do you stand by that Ukraine have to give?
Former Secretary General happens to be right here, you know, so they can't put words in his mouth. He's been a great general, frankly. It was because that's what you are. Really, you're a general. But he's been a great Secretary General. We had a tremendous relationship, very successful, and I think he could speak for himself. He's right here.
But do you still agree that Ukraine have to give some territory away to win peace?
Well, it depends what territory. They've been fighting. They've lost a lot of territory, and we'll do the best we can. Working with Ukraine, we'll do the best we can. But they lost a lot of territory. When you say Crimea, that was handed over during a president named Barack Hussein Obama. That had nothing to do with me. Crimea. That was 11 years ago with Obama, and they made a decision. There wasn't a bullet fired. There was no fighting. There was no anything. They just handed it over. Now they say, well, can you get it back? I think that's going to be a very difficult thing to do. That was given by Barack Obama when he was president, not by Donald Trump.
Thank you,
Mr. President, you had a long meeting, Mr. President.
proposal that you put on the table. It's a 30-day ceasefire proposal. Your national security team presented it to both Ukraine and Russia. 2 months ago, Ukraine agreed to that ceasefire proposal immediately. Russia has not. And my question is Russia the obstacle to peace based upon that, just getting to that 30-day ceasefire?
I don't think so. I think that they both want peace right now. They're ready to do something. We'll see what happens. Complicated, very complicated. But I think they are both very much looking to make a deal. Marco, what would you say?
Well, first of all, what was put before our partners was options to discuss about things that it would take to end a war. This war is endable. Both sides just have to agree to it. We've shown them a pathway forward. We've discussed those ideas. It was a good meeting yesterday. There'll be good meetings over the weekend. We've shown them the finish line. We need both of them to say yes. But what happened last night with those missile strikes should remind everybody of why this war needs to end. It's horrible those missiles landed. What's even worse is there are today people that were alive yesterday that are not alive today because this war continues, and the president wants to stop it. And everyone should be thanking the president for being a peacemaker and trying to save lives. That's what we're trying to do here. It's not our war. We didn't start it, as you know. But we're trying to end the dying. We're trying to end the destruction. And we've shown the path forward. We can see the finish line, but both of them have to get there. We're going to do everything we can to help them get there, but they have to ultimately say yes.
And we are using a lot of pressure on both. You know, if you think we're just in there because we're nice people, and we are nice people, but we're using a lot of pressure on both.
What concessions, Mr. President, and to your national security team, what concessions has Russia offered up thus far to get to the point where you're closer to peace?
Stopping the war, taking the whole country. Pretty big concession.
Mr. President, if you are going to take down the tariffs, what do you want Norway to buy more of from the U.S.?
To buy more? Well, you don't need snow. You don't need skis. You don't need ski champions either, right? You have a lot of them. We just want to keep the relationship the way it is. We've had a great relationship. I think now maybe closer than ever, but we've had a great relationship with Norway. I think just keep it the way it is, kid. You can't do better.
Really? Not even by, say, a 5%?
Well, if they want to give us some additional concessions, that's okay. You can't do much better. Yes, yes.
Mr. President, you had a long meeting with Norway today. You said that Norway is doing a lot of things right, but on the Ukraine, if I can ask both you and the Prime Minister, did you find common ground today on Ukraine and the peace plan?
Totally. It's totally common ground. The Prime Minister can speak about it, but I can just say he wants to see people stop dying more than anything else, and he'd like to see it end. He's going to help us end it.
Can I say that to move towards an end of this war, U.S. engagement is critical, and President Trump made that possible. That is clear. That is obvious. It's really happening. Now, the important thing is that both parties have to know that they have to deliver, and they have to feel the pressure to deliver. Ukraine is under attack. They are defending themselves. Lives are being lost. And we believe very firmly that there needs to be a ceasefire, the initiative taken by the US some time ago. It needs to be respected. And then to move on to something which both parties can own. That is the complicated part in such a dramatic war. And here I believe Europeans and Americans working together, as we do much closer now. And I salute the team of President Trump of being open in that process. We had a good discussion on this today. And then we have to move on, and we cannot lose time because this is too much drama happening. One thing is people losing their lives, but it is a bad thing for Europe, and it's a bad thing for the world to having such a broad conflict going on. It can have ramifications far beyond Ukraine.
Mr. President, a follow-up question on China.
Mr. President, if I forgot my question. I wanted to ask about sorry.
That happens.
It happens sometimes, yeah. No, Mr. President, I wanted to ask about the. Well, actually, Zelensky has said that he wants more Patriot missiles. So far, has been no response from the United States. If the United States decides to pull out of negotiating for peace, trying to broker peace, does that also mean a no on Patriot missiles? A no on sharing intelligence with Ukraine?
Let's see what happens. I think we're going to make a deal. And if we make a deal, that'll be wonderful. We won't have to worry about your question. You can ask that question in 2 weeks, and we'll see. But I think we're getting very close. The Prime Minister feels the same way, and we'll hopefully not have to answer that question.
Mr. President,
Norway is the third country to be officially invited to the White House after Liberation Day. Why did you invite Norway so soon to the White House?
Because I like them. And I like your Prime Minister, and I like the way your government runs. And I respect the king. He's highly respected in Norway. It's a great thing, not an easy thing to do. He's done a great job. Yeah.
Would you like an invitation to visit the king?
Absolutely. You get me that invitation.
I just told the president he's welcome to visit.
President Trump, we're quite hard.
Yeah,
you said before that you like the Norwegian Petroleum Fund, and I'm wondering if that has been up for discussion today, the way that the infrastructure are running in.
Well, this fund was created in the late 1990s to save for future generations the income from oil and gas. Norwegians should continue to work as hard, dedicated, innovate, and move forward, despite having these incomes, which we happen to be in the period of our history where we can harvest, and we have transferred that into investments, half of them, by the way, here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a model which we have been able to explore. If we can share experiences, and we do with our colleagues in the US, you never copy this one-to-one, but there can be techniques and way of working that we have used in organizing our fund. Jens Stoltenberg was the finance minister when the first dollar entered that fund. So he's a safe hand to have as a finance minister today. What do you say?
No, and as you said, Mr. Prime Minister, we are ready to sit down with the US to also work with them on if they want to establish a sovereign wealth fund, because we have a good experience with our fund. And I think that one example of how we work together with the United States is that half of the fund, close to $1 trillion are invested in the United States, mainly in equity, but also some in fixed income, including government bonds. So this is an expression of trust in the United States, expressed by the strong investment of the sovereign wealth fund. Then just briefly on Ukraine, since it was mentioned, we had a very good and extensive discussion about Ukraine, the path forward to peace. And as the Prime Minister said, we commend the US for pushing forward to try to find a negotiated solution. At the same time, we need to continue to support Ukraine. And therefore, I'm proud that Norway has actually tripled the military support to Ukraine. And this year, we will allocate close to $8 billion to Ukraine. That will strengthen them and also their hand on the negotiating table.
If I may add to that, if there's a peace, and there will be a peace, we have a common responsibility in securing democratic Ukraine for the future. And the best security guarantee they can have is the ability to defend themselves. And we are investing in that.
Mr. Prime Minister. If I may, as it relates to tariffs, Mr. President, when you unveiled your reciprocal tariffs on April the 2nd, the tariff rate for Norway was 15%. Based upon your conversations that you've had today with the Prime Minister, do you see that tariff rate coming down from what you proposed just a few weeks ago?
Well, they have a great fund of $2 trillion. It's a big fund, and they don't have any debt. So I think they'd probably be willing to pay us more than that, I hope.
Are the two nations in agreement?
Mr. President,
Yes.
in 2018, your former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo called for an end to Russian occupation of Crimea. Why has this administration changed its stance on territorial concessions?
Well, the war started. It would have never started if I were president. This is a war that is horrible. All wars are horrible. This one is in particular bad. And I don't know that you can ever say there's going to be a winner to this, because so many lives have been lost, not only soldiers, a lot of lives have been lost. I think that we want to do one very simple thing. It would have never happened if I were president. Zero chance it was going to, and it didn't. People say, how do you know that? Number one, it didn't happen. We never even discussed it. I would talk to Putin about it. It was the apple of his eye. Ukraine was the apple of Putin's eye, but there was never even a thought that he'd go in. And I think he understood that I would not be happy if he did. And it was only when I got out, and when you mention what happened to Ukraine years ago under President Obama and a vice president that was also president later, unfortunately for this country, what happened is large chunks of land were given up, and it was called Crimea, and that was a big thing. That was a big moment. But this isn't my war. This is Biden's war. This is a war that Biden was president when this war happened. But I'm trying to put out the fire, and I think we'll be successful. And if we do, we're going to save a lot of lives. Otherwise, and the Prime Minister had a statement. He said, "This is just a point in time. We're very lucky because this is a point. And if this doesn't happen, this could go on for a long time."
Mr. President, will you have meetings with other world leaders when you're in Rome, sir?
Future Democrat president?
I don't think he will. I think he wants to make peace. I think he wants to end it, and I feel pretty confident of that. But we're gonna know pretty soon.
Mr. President, do you have meetings with other world leaders when you're in Rome?
Yes, I will.
Which leaders do you want to meet, sir?
Well, I'd like to meet them all. That would be nice. I'd like to take care of all of them, but we have many of them there, and they all want to meet. They want to meet about trade. And we are making some great inroads and great deals. You might want to speak about that, Mr. Secretary.
We had a very successful bilateral meeting with the Republic of South Korea today. We may be moving faster than I thought, and we will be talking technical terms as early as next week, as we reach an agreement on understanding as soon as next week. So South Koreans came early They came with their A game, and we will see if they follow through on that.
So Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent there talking about the deals that are about to be made. Hopefully, I was just saying, I said this on the air, right? That maybe they're lining them up for the 100 days.
I think
Did I
that
say
was
that
off.
the air?
I think that was off air.
I wouldn't be surprised. It would be smart politics, I believe, that if you had some deals done, smart politics says you use that as an opportunity to keep the ball rolling and to pick up pace. And, my anticipation is that during the 100 days, they might have a few big deals to announce so that if you go look, if everybody takes the 100 days as a benchmark in one's presidency to say, well, 100 days in, are you better off than you were? If you were going to announce trade deals that are going to give Americans great confidence and courage to continue down this road, you got to do it in a smart way. And I would think it would be pretty smart to do that next week as they celebrate the 100 days the entire time. But we'll wait and see.
They're having a lot of meetings with a lot of countries who are coming to the table, and they haven't announced anything yet. So it would make sense that once the dominoes start to fall, they're really going to go.
Well, we said at 1:25 we were going to take phone calls. President, of course, speaking, bump that back a little bit, but we're going to do that next. 314-241-9797. The question we're asking you today, how do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Too much, too fast? Need to be doing more? Just right? Or Trump is awful? Give us a call and weigh in on this issue. And when we get back from this break, we're going to feature you on the Annie Fry Show. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Grab an open line. We just unblocked the lines for you. So jump on. Let us know what you think about the pace of the Trump administration. We'll be right back.
Cause I know in my heart, babe, our love will never die. No, you'll always be a part of me. I'm part of you, definitely. Boy, don't you know you can't escape me? Ooh, darling, cause you'll always be my baby. And we'll leave the road.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA. so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready.
And get ready for the workday.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/apply. That's ethos.com/apply.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Pour yourself something cold, baby, cheers to this. Sometimes you gotta stay in, and you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we is. Sometimes you gotta stay in. Welcome to my house, baby, take control.
No, it's strengthening the American brand. That's the whole point.
How?
We're the largest economy on earth. We're 39% of all goods consumed worldwide. We're 26.1% of world GDP. And if we don't fight against China's theft of IP, of not abiding by the World Trade Organization laws, all of the disputes going on forever, the theft of every mold of an American product, that is what the American brand is about. It's about democracy, transparency, and rule of law. And you want China to ride shotgun in every small American company that hits $5 million in sales?
There's Kevin O'Leary, someone who knows a little bit about business, talking about these tariffs. And I think that there is an easy political argument that's made usually on social media about how tariffs are destroying the economy and everything. You know, people are talking about the very much so here and now. If your 401k isn't as high as it was, you know, one of the days that Joe Biden was president, people are looking at that and saying Trump's an absolute failure. But they entered the room saying Trump's an absolute failure. They have the ends justifies the means mentality where they know what the determination is. And anytime they can cherry pick some sort of data point to subsidize what they're thinking, they throw it out there and ignore the context. I think tariffs are complicated. I think tariffs are a little stressful for all of us to watch and see, and with bated breath to see if Donald Trump is going to accomplish what he says he's going to accomplish. But we're not there yet. There's no conclusion here that determines that it's a failure, just like there's no conclusion yet that determines it's a success. We have to wait and see. And boy, we are not patient people. Our YouTube live chat poll today is asking you, how do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Do you think it's too much, too fast? Do you think he needs to be doing more? Do you think it's just right, or Trump is awful? Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, youtube.com/@AnnieFry, or on your YouTube app. You can just type our name in there. And where you see the live chat pop up with the live broadcast is where the live chat poll is. Now, we've got a couple people waiting in line here to talk on the show, and we'd love to invite you to join them. Get in line at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, and answer that question. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Let's talk to Bob first. Bob, thanks for calling the show. How do you feel about it?
Hi, Annie. How you doing? Oh, I think he's doing a great job. And I would say full steam ahead.
get done as much as he can, as quick as he can, and make it right for all the American people. For too long, we've been passive. We've been procrastinating like nobody's business, and everybody's not used to a pace of making things happen in a good way. And this is what President Trump came in. This is what we voted him in November. This is what we said we want. We got it. It's time to just keep full steam ahead and make it happen.
Well, I appreciate that phone call, Bob. Thank you for that input. He said it there. This is what we voted for.
The thing he said there that I agree with, because my answer to the question today, how do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration, is just right. Not because I don't want him to move faster. I don't know that he can move faster. So when people say, yes, I think it's just right, but I'd like him to move faster, I'm kind of there. I don't really know how you could do it much faster.
Mary Kay on our Facebook live stream says, too much, too fast. It's scaring people.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing untrue about that.
Roller coasters scare people, but people still stand in line.
And it doesn't mean anything that he's doing is wrong. I mean, there's still a lot of things that you could say, oh, well, the verdict's out, like tariffs. But it doesn't mean that that just because he's moving fast doesn't mean it's bad.
Right. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Give us a call and tell us what you think about the pace of the Trump administration. Roger, thanks for giving us a call. What are your thoughts?
This is Roger. I am happy to talk to you and honored. I have an idea. Not only do I love the pace, but I have an idea to press it forward.
Okay.
Float this thought amongst you all and discuss it. It relates to the 401k. Let's give a one-time coupon. It can be targeted indirectly at the baby boom, you could say, but a tax coupon. Pay down the national debt. It's a perfect time with tariffs. People can make the conversion. We can buy down the debt. There's a lot of money tied up in the baby boom. You know, I'm happy to know I remembered your number when you announced it because I'm of that age group, but we've got a lot of money tied up. I'd love if I could get a few % off on my taxes. I'd convert a lot of pre-tax money. I'd love to hear you guys talk about it.
Okay. Thank you, Roger, for the phone call. I appreciate it. If you want to get in line, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. What do you think?
I've heard some suggestions like this before, maybe not exactly that, of doing some sort of stimulus for people to get their money out of holding. And I don't know that that's a bad idea. I just don't know that at the moment it's what we need to do. That's something that seems like you'd want to do, like break glass in case of emergency. And I don't know that we're at that point.
When do we get to an emergency?
Well, what he's saying is that we are in one because our debt is so much. I understand that.
$36.7 trillion.
Yeah.
And ticking.
I would think that's more of a sudden economic stimulus that you could be creating by doing that we don't necessarily need yet.
I'm looking at the U.S. debt clock here, and the savings per tax dollar or taxpayer for what the Doge effort is, and that's how much credit you put to this U.S. debt clock. I like it. I just like colors and graphs.
Yeah.
So, but they have $355 billion saved, and per taxpayer, that's $3,160. It's pretty interesting to see that go up. We're going to take a quick break. We went real long there with the president. If you want to get in line to call us, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. You can tell us how you feel about the pace of the Trump administration. I've got a few comments here, too, from listeners that I'm going to read. I'll read one now, and we'll read a few more in the next segment as well. Joe says, get things done before the resistance can organize. Judges are their last desperate defense against being defunded. So he's got a couple of things there that he wants to have them get done, but you got to go all in this early part of the term if you want to beat the midterm elections and the potential of not having the power anymore after those midterms to get it done. I think that's what Joe's saying. 314-241-9797. Give us a call. Stay on the line if you're there. We'll get to you on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
The Retirement Advisory Group, 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. Those folks who can help you, kind of doing like what Bob was saying there before. Y'all are looking at your retirement accounts right now, and you're looking at what's going on with the administration. Might have you a little anxious, a little bit more than maybe people who are 40 like me. You want to make sure that you have made the moves to protect your retirement. And that starts with making a very smart phone call to the Retirement Advisory Group. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. Talk to them about setting up a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review to discuss you and your savings and your hopes and dreams in retirement, and how the Retirement Advisor Group can help you achieve that peaceful, anxiety-free entering into retirement. They specialize on people just like you. You just need to connect yourself by giving them a call. 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
The question we're asking you today is, how do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? 4 choices: too much, too fast, need to be doing more, just right, or Trump is awful. You don't really care. All of it's bad. That's definitely going to be a handful of people. But that's the YouTube live chat poll of the day. So you can log on, you can comment, of course, vote, and we'll give you the results of this poll at the end of the show. Also, keep in mind, you can call in. We're talking about this subject on the air right now. 314-241-9797. 241-9797. The time is 1:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. I'll be at the Busch Brewery in Washington, Missouri for The Purpose of Politics, hosted by TPUSA Washington. Join us Tuesday, April 29th for a panel discussion. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Like that you're broken like me. Maybe that makes me a fool. Like met you late night at a party. Some trust fund babies, Brooklyn loft by the bathroom. You said let's talk, but my
This is the Annie Fry Show.
well, these are my people, these are my friends. She grabbed my face and that's when she said,
I am Hispanic, but I am a citizen, legal citizen, and I am disgusted and I am so angry with liberals going out of the country for this guy. I don't understand what they're trying to say to the Hispanic community. Like, are they trying to pick votes? Why are they doing this? It's not doing anything. It's just making us more angry. That's all.
So there you have a woman talking about watching the Democrat Party and what they represent. Look at the people who they're chasing after. It's wild to see the efforts and the focus of the activist progressive left of the Democratic Party. I don't believe the whole Democratic Party is the way the squeaky wheels are. But they're going to have to organize and figure out how they are going to successfully not divide their party completely in half by pushing back against the far, far left. They're chasing after people who are criminals, and it is a very unifying message to be like, no, we want to make America safe again. And that Hispanic caller on Mark Halperin's show is saying the same thing. So we talk a lot about tariffs and the pace of the Trump administration, but you got to remember, of course, probably the main thing that he's done very successfully is secure the border. The border is secure now, and we have to deal with the repercussions of what the Biden-Harris administration did to our country in the process. So still, of course, a lot of work to do. 314-241-9797 if you want to give us a call. Our question today on the YouTube live chat poll and for our callers is, how do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? And I want to get to our callers here. I'll start with Jeff. Jeff, thank you for calling us and weighing in on this question. What do you think?
I love it.
You love it.
He's like Larry the Cable Guy. Get her done.
They're one and the same. It's hard to tell them apart. So you think that the way he's going, strong and steady and fast, it's all good.
Oh yeah. The only thing I don't understand is how these federal judges can get in. That's the part I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be just absolutely wonderful if you could get rid of these guys. You know what I mean?
Well, they can. Jeff, thank you for the phone call. They can't impeach him.
They can impeach him.
I mean, that exists in the checks and balances. It's just not going to happen.
Well, even if they do impeach him in the House, it's not going to get past the Senate. It doesn't mean that he'll be removed from office.
Sean, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration?
Hey, Annie, love your show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
You bet.
I love it. I mean, fast paced. It's Trump's way. That's how he does things. I can't imagine if the country was behind him, how much more would be getting accomplished. I think it scares the heck out of people that, Trump brings a sledgehammer to every party, and he is really fast out of the gate. And after, the last 4 years of Weekend at Bernie's, people are kind of freaking out a little bit, and that's okay. Trump's comfortable. I'm comfortable.
Sean,
I think he's doing a great job.
I love it. Thank you for the phone call. We appreciate you. It's interesting to compare, the Weekend at Bernie's thing, that the fear and anxiety that people who were not in favor of Joe Biden's policies had, it would be different if you were not in favor of Trump's policies. Trump's ability to be effective and his willingness to lead, whatever it was that we did for 4 years when Joe Biden was the president, it was different. It was almost like he was the last to know what was going on and the first to tell us about things. But he just was, Weekend at Bernie's, there's not much better way to explain it.
And the difference between the two, going from one to the next is probably why this feels even faster than usual.
Quite a bit jarring. One more call here, 314-241-9797. We can maybe fit one more in. Bob, thank you for reaching out to us. What are your thoughts on the Trump administration's pace?
Well, I think he's working at a perfect pace because in any negotiations, you have to kind of leave your opponent wondering what's going to happen. But you have you hold the cards, you look at all the options, and then you keep putting the ideas out there, and eventually you're going to get what you need to have in order to finish the deal. So I appreciate the president and what he does. And I also appreciate you and what you do, and wish you the best in Washington next week. I'll be a faithful listener.
Oh, Bob, thank you so much for the phone call. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a good one. Bye-bye.
You as well. Bye-bye. This is very nice. This is Bob Wiggins, was it?
It might have been. It didn't sound like him, but you just never know.
Yeah. I don't know if your dad has an affinity for me the way mine has an affinity for you. We'll see. The second caller that we had here in this segment, Sean was talking about, wasn't he the one who said, like, if that was the first one, if he had the support of the country, how much better it would be? I think he's got it as much as he's ever going to have it, and I think it's enough.
I still think, we're not even 100 days in. The pace is unbelievable, which is why we're asking the question, do you think it's too fast? Do you think it's not fast enough? Can you imagine if they keep this pace up, which I'm pretty sure they will?
They're not going to slow down.
What does it look like in 2 years, 3 years from now, 4 years from now?
I asked these type of questions when the economy was going bonkers in his first term, and then COVID happened. So I'm still a little nervous about asking those questions.
I understand
look at how good it could possibly be. This is so great. And then all of a sudden it's like, how about a global pandemic?
I wonder if and this is why people are like, we want to see arrests, because we know how much corruption there is, whether it be with the money laundering through these organizations and all this stuff, or whatever else it could be. But here's a good comment. I think the pace is fine, but the people that were perpetrating the fraud need to go to jail. Thank you very much. That kind of stuff I really get, because it takes time. But imagine if we start digging into this stuff and we all see, yes, this was real. There really was this kind of fraud. There really was this kind of waste and abuse. I think the American people will say, this was the right guy for the time, and get behind Donald Trump. Even the partisan people will have to say, yes, he was right about this.
We're going to take a quick break. In the next hour at 2:25, we are going to do X's and Y's, because Brad says he needs to know more things. So
I have many questions.
He's got questions, and I guess I'll have answers, or maybe Ryan can answer on behalf of women. I also, on the Annie Fry Show Facebook page, put the question up, X's and Y's. You can see it right there at the top. And I asked you, what do you not understand about the opposite sex, or what would you like to ask them? So if you want to get a question in on Facebook, if you don't join us on YouTube, find that on our Annie Fry Show Facebook page, like the page while you're there as well. And maybe your question will get asked at the 2:25 segment. Big sports night tonight. We're going to have Ethan in here, and he's going to set the table for us. He doesn't know that yet, but he does now if he's listening. And I've got some motivation for y'all, and you're going to want to hear this motivation. You're going to want to watch it as well. It comes with a video. So if you want to join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can do that as well and take a look. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with a lot of fun coming up here in the 2 o'clock hour on the Annie Fry Show. Don't go away.
Hey, Underdog Fantasy just became one of the best places to make entries during the basketball playoffs with their extender promo. With the extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. You start a playoff series by using your Game 1 boost and continue boosting each game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boosts. Underdog is a leading place to make all of your sports selections, and now you can play in Missouri. You want to get signed up with your username and a password, of course, and then use the promo code MARKR. I'm going to guide you into that in a second. Millions of fans have won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be the next? And to play, all you have to do is download and then choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. And you can choose from things like points, assists, and more. Download the Underdog app and sign up with the promo code MARKR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code MARKR. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
STS Armory in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. You want to go visit them and see what they have in stock in store, but they can also order things that you might be looking for that maybe they don't have already in stock. Firearms, if you're looking for ammunition, whatever you need when it comes to your Second Amendment, your safety, your security, your preparedness, all of it. The wealth of knowledge and the ability to access those things for you at STS Armory is second to none. I appreciate the people at STS Armory, the family-owned and operated business. When you meet with Katie and Jesse, you're quickly going to understand why, like, oh, good, I have people now. You certainly do, and they're waiting to meet you at their brand new shop in Pontoon Beach. They relocated within Pontoon Beach, but they have a brand new building, and they are excited to meet you and welcome you in and show you around. If you're looking for classes, if you're looking for conceal and carry courses, renewal courses, basic pistol training courses, whatever you need, they've got a class for you. You can just find them online at sts-armory.com. That's sts-armory.com.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholt of Kaufman Townsley. We've won the trust of thousands of clients who are victims of careless drivers. We have the team, the talent, and the tenacity to get you the money you deserve. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
There's pressure on both sides. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from President Trump after his criticism of Ukraine's leader for refusing to surrender Crimea to Russia. Today, he's been criticizing Russia's president for a deadly attack on Kyiv.
I didn't like last night. I wasn't happy with it. And we're in the midst of talking peace, and missiles were fired. And I was not happy with it.
Alongside the prime minister of NATO ally Norway in the Oval Office, the president also suggesting Russia has made what he calls a pretty big concession by not seizing all of Ukraine. Also saying again, he believes both sides want peace. A rough day in court for the Trump administration with several federal judges blocking more parts of the president's agenda, at least for now, including some of his election reforms.
The Trump administration cannot immediately enact changes to federal elections. A federal judge is temporarily blocking a proof of citizenship requirement for federal voter registration, but other elements of an executive order signed in March can move forward, including mail-in ballot deadlines and the Department of Homeland Security reviewing state voter lists alongside immigrant databases. Voting rights groups have challenged the order, arguing it exceeds the president's authority and undermines state control of elections. President Trump says the U.S. is not enforcing basic and necessary election protections.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. A federal judge in New Hampshire temporarily blocking a threat to cut federal funding for public schools that don't abandon diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And in California, a preliminary injunction issued against denying or putting conditions on federal funding for so-called sanctuary cities that don't cooperate with federal immigration efforts. An hour to the close on Wall Street, the Dow's up 417 points after some better than expected earnings reports overshadowing a drop in home sales. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/today. Ethos.com/today.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our temperature should top out at about 82 this afternoon. Partly sunny skies, maybe a shower here and there. Tonight, clouds, an increase in scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms, especially late evening and overnight, 63. Friday, still looking a bit on the wet side, periods of rain, couple of thunderstorms, primarily non-severe, 78. Weekends looking pretty good. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-517-1717. That's 800-517-1717. 800-517-1717.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Former CIA officer Jason Hansen here. In my line of work, I've seen firsthand how fast the world can change. With rising geopolitical tensions and inflation eating your buying power, it's time to take action. For me, that means gold. And for gold, I exclusively trust Advantage Gold. I urge you to do the same. Call them now at 800-900-8000 for a free gold guide to discover the security that comes with owning precious metals. Again, call 800-900-8000 today.
Paid for by Advantage Gold. Performance may vary. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Always consult your financial and tax professional.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
All right, it is time. It is Thursday, April 24th in St. Louis, and that means that Blues playoff hockey is back in the city, and that's what I know. Ethan?
Backs against the wall.
Yeah.
Trailing 2-0 against the top team in the league, in the Winnipeg Jets.
Top team in the league?
Top team in the league. They were the President's Trophy winners, which means that they had the most points acquired, best record in hockey. So it is as backs against the wall. Tonight is a must win as it gets for St. Louis.
All right. Did you hear John Gruden yet?
I did.
You did?
Oh, no.
All right, so set it up a little bit. I haven't prefaced any of this with you, but John Gruden is with Barstool Sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
So John Gruden has kind of bounced around a lot of different places. He obviously very, very well-known NFL head coach. And then he had this thing on, well, I'm sorry?
Visor.
The Visor, yep. He had this thing where he had the show on ESPN called Gruden's Quarterback Camp, where basically leading up to the NFL draft, he would sit down with the most well-known quarterbacks from that draft class, and he would go through their film, and he would say, hey, this is what you need to do better. He's very, what's the word?
Colorful?
That's a way to put it. He's very like loud and energetic, and he's
Extra.
Yes, that's another good way to put it. So recently, not too long ago, he was hired by Barstool to just be another one of their pieces.
To be like
they do a lot of
the
goofy
most
stuff.
John Gruden that John Gruden could be.
And he fills it perfectly.
Are you ready, St. Louis, for this? Because the St. Louis Blues sent him a box,
which is something that has been a normal thing since he came on with Barstool. Different teams, college teams, professional teams will send him a box of a bunch of gear, and he basically spends 5 minutes just talking up the.
Well, we're
organization.
gonna listen to it. If you're on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you're not gonna want to miss this. You can watch it along with us, but it's a pretty.
Know that much about hockey. I admit that, but I do know a big game when a big game is here. And tonight there's a big game in St. Louis. And for this, I'm going to use my switchblade knife. You see, the St. Louis Blues sent me a box. And the St. Louis Blues are down 2-0 to the Winnipeg Jets. And I'm concerned about that, but I'm excited because down 2-0 gives you a chance to do something unbelievable. And when you got a head coach like Jim Montgomery, I guarantee you, he's telling his team right now, hey, Winnipeg's got dreams of winning the Stanley Cup. Winnipeg this, Winnipeg has dreams of that. Hey, we're the freaking nightmare. The St. Louis Blues. We're at home tonight. We're back at Enterprise Center in front of our fans. And we're going to hit these guys into the glass, onto the ice, and we're going to out-hit them. When we substitute, we're going to get faster. Sorry for getting excited. I'm excited because I'm learning about hockey. Let me tell you something, man. These guys don't want to go back to Winnipeg. Nobody wants to go to Winnipeg. It's cold there. It's the greatest thing ever. I'm going to learn to skate because of the St. Louis Blues. And you're going to get this. That's my next thing. Even with my new hip, I'm going to go skating because I'm learning about hockey and I love the Blues.
Get out of here.
And I freaking love this shirt. You think I love Jamar? You think I love Jamar Chase? Yes, I do. But right now, sorry, Jamar, I love the St. Louis Blues. You know why? They got a guy on their team at forward, Brett Hull. He's been kicking ass since ass was kicked. Is this the greatest thing? Can you imagine me being an ice hockey guy? Jake.
Yeah, undo the chin strap.
Oh.
Anyways. He's wearing on the top of his head.
Look at this right there.
Oh, my God.
We need defense tonight. We need our defense. Chris Pronger. Knocking guys around. Sorry. The Blues. This is probably more comfortable than that. I love it, man. Got to out-hit these guys. That's what we got to do. Holy cow, this is autographed.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. You're not going to believe this. You know who their goalie is? Jordan Bennington. Look at this. Jordan Bennington. It's autographed. What's it say? It says, Coach, you're the best. I'm totally in awe of this, man. Imagine Bennington in the freaking goal. We're the Nightmares. I freaking love this.
No shots.
When these guys take their gloves off and eat. Let's go. God dang.
Oh, my God.
It's the greatest box ever. Is it? Jake, you think I can learn to skate?
That's awesome.
Jordan Kyrou. Jordan Kyrou. Whoa.
So do you think that the Blues players watch that and go, all right, let's go? I don't know anything, Ethan, about the Blues coach. Is he that guy? Is he this kind of guy? I mean, is anybody a Gruden kind of guy?
So I highly doubt that. I might be wrong, but I highly doubt that Jim Montgomery in the middle of a playoff series had anything to do with this box getting sent to John Gruden.
You don't think so?
Bennington did.
He wasn't like, gosh, we need something.
Someone definitely
more.
told Bennington to sign it for coach, but this is gold. This is unbelievable.
I would listen to that. I'm going to listen to that before I go to the White House. I'm just going to mentally be like, this is for me. And then I'm going to go to the White House and just do the best that I can.
That's the way you should talk yourself up, too, is go in there going,
with hockey.
We know that the 100
Uniform?
days is a dream, but I'm going to be your nightmare. You should go in very adversarially.
I don't think I need to make that about me. I don't, there's something there, but I don't know if we've ordered it the correct way.
He finished by the end of this video. He is in full hockey uniform.
He's got everything.
He's got the helmet, the skates. He shows where he's going to put up his. This was my favorite part. At the end of the video, he walks through his hall. He says, "I'm gonna frame this jersey signed by Jordan Bennington. So I'm gonna put it up with all the defensive legends." He has a wall of the best players on defense to ever play in the NFL. He's naming Hall of Famers. He says, "I'm gonna put him right there." He yells, "Shut him down tonight, Jordan!"
He's so
"Let's go Blues!" And then he finishes. He says, "Oh wait, the game's at 8:30 tonight. I gotta save my voice."
Yeah. So Ethan, do you feel like the stage is different for Winnipeg? I mean, obviously, if you're playing away, there's always some sort of disadvantage there. But if you're the best team in the league, I mean, it's not like you can't win on somebody else. It's not like, well, yeah.
I was talking to Mike Claiborne about this a couple of days ago, and he had a great quote. And he said, "The series doesn't get interesting until you win on the opponent's ice, and until then, it's still a series." So I would say the Blues, the pressure has. At the beginning of the series, all the pressure was on Winnipeg because in previous years, they've been a very good team and they've choked in the playoffs. They've disappointed fans up north. So at the beginning of this series, the pressure was on Winnipeg. Now that's shifted a little bit because the Blues are their backs are against the wall a little bit. But you're going to be in front of a rowdy crowd tonight. You're going to be in front of 18,000 fans wearing blue on their feet throughout a good portion of this game. And you win both of these games. You take it one at a time, but if you win both these games, then you're right back in it, and it's a best of 3.
Well, we'll be watching. I'm excited about it. It's perfectly placed after my son's baseball game, so we're going to be able to take on both and check it out.
There's been some frustration around some of these start times for some of these playoff games. For example, Vegas and Minnesota are playing each other right now, and that game was on the West Coast, game 2 of that series a couple nights ago. It started at 8:00 Vegas time. That's 11:00 Eastern time. So there's been some frustration about some of the terrible timing of some of these playoff games, like what the numbers have been down for some of them. 8:30, you'll take it in the Central Time Zone. It could be worse. We could be looking at an 11:00 start time, depending on where you are in the country. But
I'm looking right now at Ticketmaster.com for tickets for tonight, and there are tickets available. That's crazy.
Go buy some tickets and support.
It's too late for me.
It's too late for her.
It's like
you
Carl.
gotta let her go.
I've got kids. You remember when Carl called in and was like, "You need a show." I had somebody message me back the like written script of that conversation where Carl calls in to the show and he's like, "Ryan, you did great without Annie here. You need to have a show." And I'm like, "He has a show." And then you're like, "I do have a show. It's at 7 a.m. You're like, "I'm not getting up that early." That was good.
That was a good call.
I wish that we had planned that.
Question after listening to Gruden here.
Yeah. There's more too. You should go check out the whole
Will he
video.
just home team anybody who sends him a box?
No, he actually goes into later on in that video. He talks about how he coaches SEMO, Cape Girardeau. He goes, "Cape Girardeau, get your butts to the game." So he's got a
he's
local
got
connection.
some roots.
So he glazes a little bit for their sending. He's giving them some love.
Okay.
For them.
Like if the
giving him
Jets
some
would
love.
do this tomorrow, he'd just turn or.
I don't know for sure about that. I don't know if he would strategically do it back to back. That probably wouldn't look great. But he has mentioned some love for this area, specifically because he did coach for SEMO.
Okay.
He actually says later in the video, "I love St. Louis. There's no town like it." I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that,
He
but
goes on and on.
Yeah.
Well, if you're talking about sports
right.
and fans, there's a lot to be said about that.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to do X's and Y's. Are you going to stick around for this, Ethan?
I'm going to try
You're
my
gonna
best.
Try? Okay, well, we'd like to have you. If you have questions that about the opposite sex, something you've always wanted to know about it, we've had some fun ones in here, and it's not all weird, but sometimes it's weird. Let us know what your thoughts are, your questions, and maybe we'll feature some of them next in X's and Y's on the Annie Fry Show.
Complains, but where I come from, rain is a good thing. Rain makes corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes my baby feel a little frisky. Back roads are bogging up, my buddies pile up in my truck. We hunt our honeys down, we take them into town, start washing all our worries down the drain. Rain is a good thing.
Stewart's American Mortgage. He is the guy who created and provides for you the bagel loan, which is wonderful because when you are getting a mortgage, you're going to go through the process. You know, you're negotiating a home price. You're negotiating concessions that might be made by the seller. And then you get to the end and you're like, oh my gosh, closing costs too. And that's money that comes right out, right? No, not with the bagel loan. $0 in closing costs to get your mortgage through the bagel loan, which is only available at Stewart's American Mortgage. I have myself refinanced twice with the bagel loan. I have a wonderful low rate thanks to Stewie and the ability to refinance at no additional cost to myself. 314-324-4440. His business is based on doing business directly to you. So when I say 314-324-4440, guess what? That's Stewie's cell phone number. It goes straight to him. You can call it, you can text him, and you can ask him about the bagel loan and how it can help you. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Some people follow the rules, but where's the fun in that? I'm Soraya, and this is Rule Breakers, the podcast where we celebrate the rebels, the risk takers, and the ones who make their own way. Every week, I sit down with the boldest voices in sports, entertainment, and beyond to talk about breaking barriers, defying expectations, and rewriting the rules. No limits, no apologies, just real talk. Follow and listen to Rule Breakers with Soraya, an Odyssey podcast available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Who has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis? Is the Post-Dispatch Window Retailer of the Year, J.D. Power Award winner 5 years in a row, and has the nation's best warranty coverage? Renewal by Andersen, that's who. Take advantage of our great April sale. Buy one window, entry door, or patio door, and get the next 50% off with 0 payments and 0 interest for 12 months. Check it out at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1924. Renewal by Andersen, a better way to a better window.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan and be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Waking up,
X's and Y's.
That's funny. X's and Y's, a segment where we ask across genders, of which there are two, why do you do things that way? Or how do you do things? How do you do this? How do you
What's
function?
in your head when blank?
Those memes where the woman's like, I wonder if he's thinking about another woman right now. And then he's thinking about, like, why did the Klingons do this to the Romulans? Are those both in the same series?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. I grew up watching Star Trek with my dad, which was at the time, maybe around 1992, followed by Rush Limbaugh on TV.
You know who else is in that series? The Kardashians.
What?
Isn't that weird? There was a whole race of aliens named Kardashians.
Are there really?
Yeah, there really were.
If you're screwing with me, I'm just going to concede.
Don't worry about it. There were no Jenners, but there were Kardashians.
I'm going to start with some questions I'll ask one question here from the Annie Fry Show Facebook page. So if you have a question you want to ask, you can go to the Facebook page. You can certainly pop it into the YouTube chat as well. My wife can never figure out what she wants for dinner. Do you think that is there a reason why, if you're like, hey, honey, where do you want to go to dinner? Is there a reason why you don't just say, let's go to Bella Milano for dinner?
Is this a women asking men, why don't you just say where you want to go?
I hear men complain about women not knowing where they want to go eat dinner.
Yes.
So, like, why don't you just pick a place to go eat dinner?
Because when we do, then it becomes, no. We're not trying to make a buffet for you of restaurants. We just want to know what you want.
Suggest 3.
Well, then we have to be the creative one and come up with the 3.
So it sounds like you want to put the work and the onus on the woman to do the thinking work, and you don't want to do any of it yourself.
None of it.
I disagree.
Just a little bit of it.
Who do you disagree with?
Ryan and your assessment of what Ryan was saying.
All right, so we're wrong.
Okay. Yeah, both
Brad?
of you. Whenever I ask what my wife wants for dinner, I want to go to some place that will make her happy.
What if what makes her happy is not having to think about where to go for dinner?
Well, I get that too, and she should tell me it makes me happy. Just you pick, I'll be happy with whatever. And then
Doesn't
whenever
she do that?
well, sometimes she does what Ryan says.
Well, then if they say,
which is what?
Because you just pick. Then you pick, and they go, not that one. And you pick something else, and you go,
yeah.
No. Russell's got a solution here. He says, if my wife is hungry, she will eat what I cook.
Yeah, that's a way to do it, is just say, well, I'll surprise you. And then you just go.
I was to say, my wife is hungry. She still won't eat what I cook. My dog won't even eat what I cook. I am such a bad cook.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay.
I mean, it seems to me like men don't want to do the thinking, and they don't want the woman to have opinions. They just want a destination.
You're inferring a lot here.
Well, correct me.
No, completely fine with opinions.
Yeah.
But just tell me what you actually want, not just shooting down things that I'm suggesting.
Isn't it possible that in that same moment that men also don't really know what they want or what sounds good?
No, because by the time we suggest a restaurant, we're willing to eat at that
We've
restaurant.
decided, that'll be good.
That doesn't mean it's exclusively that we have to do that thing, but that sounds good. If we're saying that restaurant, that sounds good.
Do you believe? I mean, women may just not know what they want to eat.
Which is the problem. I think we've gotten to the root of the problem here. We need to know what you want.
Ah, too bad. How can we tell you if we don't know?
That's a great question.
And to me, I don't know if I'm not speaking on behalf of women, but it's not about liking the whole restaurant. It's like, if you say a place, if you say, how about Applebee's? I'll go, okay, I'll get Fiesta lime chicken and a side salad. And I know that that's what I'm going to get. I don't need to think about anything else. And I'm not a browser. So other women might be different than that. If you say Mexican, that's just kind of like, okay, you go there, you're going to eat some version of Mexican food.
Yep.
And that's a yes or a no. Pretty easy yes or no. Do you ever do you have this problem with your wife?
Yeah. Well, we used to when we went out to eat more. We just don't have time like we used to. But when we did, it was an issue.
But what about who makes dinner at your house?
Both of us. She more creates dinner from scratch. She's more of a cook than I am, but we both make food depending on the night.
Do you share the responsibilities within the same meal, or is it okay, tonight's Ryan's night?
For whatever reason, it tends to be one or the other. I'll either make everything or she makes everything.
And when you do it that way, do you have jurisdiction over the whole meal? Is it a conversation? Do you consider your kids?
It's mainly for the kids. So if we get to eat anything, it's a bonus.
Do you make meals for your kids and then you guys go get what you really want?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's the best.
That happens more often than I
The
care.
kids will ask like one time, what do you guys like? Shut your mouth.
Yeah, you shut up.
You
now.
shut your mouth
Yeah,
right
you didn't
now.
even see me eating these bugles. I told you no.
That's not really what Jared and I go for when we get to choose our own, but we might do carry out. We love a good Texas Roadhouse grilled chicken salad. So we'll order that. And while that's being made at Roadhouse, we're making food for the kids.
Yeah, we're gonna go get a very fancy Euro salad. Here are fish sticks for you. And they're like, yay, we don't care.
Kids want to eat cereal. We just quit buying cereal in our house. All right, next question, Brad.
Annie, do you like movies with strong female leads where the character is written more like a man but
so
is a woman?
This is specific.
I always want to be like, Brad, tell us how you feel, and then follow it up with a question.
Do you like?
What?
So it would be like basically you would go to see a James Bond movie, but instead of a James Bond, you have James Bond. Nothing changes about the character's personality, abilities, or anything like that.
Is it a movie where it is James Bond, but they just decided to make
No,
it a
it's just any movie where the female character is more like a dude.
Strong female lead.
So since they're strong and effective, they're like a man.
No. They're like doing things like they're flipping 250-pound dudes like with one hand across the room and that sort of thing.
Are you asking me if I like action movies that include women?
Not include women, but the main character is a woman, and she
Give
just
me an
does.
example of one.
Well, I mean,
Laura Croft Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's
Huge
a good example.
Fan. That's what I dress
I was
up
gonna
as
say
this
that
night at night.
You could point to the a Rey in Star Wars. She was doing things that aren't really
feminine.
What? Wait.
I don't know.
I'm gonna want to walk that back. What? What was she doing that wasn't feminine?
Well, like
using the Force.
Well, she got the Force, and she was an she was an expert
indecisive.
immediately.
I don't know where I want to go eat in the galaxy. Where do you want to go eat in the galaxy?
I want to go to Tatooine, maybe. They might want to go to the Death Star.
Maybe eat at the cantina.
No, too spicy.
Darth Vader's there.
Too dark. Makes me a little uncomfortable.
More of like a foe.
Someone that I don't entirely hate, like wants to kill me, but just kind of like, have
No,
a
not
little
an
thing
FOE,
going on
a
with it.
PHO.
I love Black Widow. Is that her name? Scarlett Johansson. I always want to say Scarlet Witch because her name is Scarlet. I love her character in the Marvel series.
Me too.
She's one of my faves. She should be. She's hot.
Pretty good looking.
But she's super masculine in that she beats people up.
I like the superheroes that do it without the superpowers.
Like her.
Like her, because it's solely relying on combat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not relying on superpowers. Is it realistic? No. Like why should Black Widow be an Avenger when she is standing next to the God of Thunder? There is no reason, but it's still awesome.
He's my favorite.
What does she do? Backflips.
Yeah, that's all she does.
So you're a no to Brad's question.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't seek out action movies for the purpose of action. I don't care what genre of the movie it is. I just want it to be a good story. So if you're making me laugh the whole time and it's a good story, cool. If you are a super jam-packed action story, but it's a good story, cool. John Wick, everybody raves about John Wick, but I've never seen it because nobody talks about John Wick being a good movie without talking about how profane the language is and how gory it is. And I didn't
even remember that.
Well, it's because you were callous.
Man. Like, oh, the F word again. I don't even care.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Is that not right? Is that not a fair assessment? I feel like everybody says that about it. Like it's a good movie. Everybody loves the movie, but it's just like
it's brutal.
It's rough.
Yeah,
it's a very realistic action.
Yeah.
Which is still not realistic.
It's an
It just
unrealistic
seems realistic.
Kate says John Wick is just action porn. And I don't need to see a movie just to see how much action you can fit into a title.
Yeah, maybe.
I understand why dudes like it, but
the
not...
first one, I
Now,
really thought
it
the
was
first
Jane
one was cool.
Wick.
Yeah, I'd be like, why don't you go back to the kitchen, lady?
That's no.
Go find something to eat on Tatooine.
I am undecided on Brad's question.
Okay.
Next question?
Yeah, next question is, do women, I can't figure out whether women like makeup or hate makeup. Because if you're going out and everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna go do makeup, like it's fun. And then it's like, oh, I gotta go out, I gotta go do my makeup. Like I hate it. So which is it? Do you love makeup or do you hate makeup?
I think the number one thing for men to know about women in makeup is that we don't wear the makeup for you.
Well, I don't care who you're wearing it for. I just want to know whether you like it or not.
Well, that's if you understand that we don't put the proverbial face on to go out so that men will approve of it, you do it to make yourself feel a certain kind of way. So if it's summertime and your skin is sun-kissed and you're feeling good about, the way you look, you might put some mascara on and be done with it. You might wear nothing and be fine with it. Every woman is different. And I think age has a lot to do with it. I think a lot of women, as they age, wear less and less makeup because they're less and less concerned about the other person's perception on it. But makeup is most often worn to provide confidence for the person who's wearing it. It makes them feel better. And whatever amount of makeup, I've said this before on the show many times, but I wear a certain amount of makeup on the camera, but you guys all know I got this stuff all over. I don't come into the studio like that. I don't want to be out. I went to the chiropractor this morning. I don't wear a full face of makeup to the chiropractor. When I leave here and go to my son's baseball game, I have wipes in my car that will take it off because I don't want to be around people with all of that makeup on. It's not necessary. I don't know if that answers your question either.
Not really.
If we like it, I mean, I think the women who don't like it don't wear it. There's no requirement.
But you're speaking on behalf of all women here.
Yeah, I'm entitled, and on this one, I think maybe.
So you're saying it's more like a necessity. It's
the opposite of a necessity.
Okay.
It's like a accessory. I will wear earrings sometimes, but I'm not a jewelry person. If you ever see me out at an event, I will wear a long gold chain necklace that was my grandmother's. I don't want big chunky jewelry. Other women can't put enough jewelry on. It's just whatever your preference is and whatever makes you feel better. So I don't think, there are women who absolutely hate and despise makeup. They just don't wear it.
So it's an accessory.
Yeah.
It's like when I wear shoulder pads and brass knuckles.
I didn't know you did.
Not at work.
This is your night job.
I bet he did at the concert he was at last week.
Ethan, do you have any questions? I don't know if you came in here with any questions.
Well, mine's kind of related to makeup as well. As you guys know, I'm recently married, and
recently into makeup.
I'm starting to figure this whole. I'm trying to figure out this whole hair and makeup thing. All of the women that have been in my life, which would be my mom, my sisters, and now my wife.
Yeah, you've been exposed to the estrogen for your entire life. That's good.
How exactly should I navigate the hey, we need to leave by this time? How much? What time do I give? So if we need to be leaving at 9:30, what is a good time to give them so that they leave at 9:30? Hey, do we need to be leaving at 9:50? We need to be leaving at 9:15. Now, and this could also vary depending on the person, how much time you're putting into the hair and makeup. But is there a good blanket
this is a Brad question?
Is there
is there a specific time where
is
your
there
wife
a blanket hey, we have to be leaving at 9:30?
What time
we need to leave at 9:15.
What time should I tell my wife?
I'll give you some marriage tips.
Please do.
The first one is to be patient and know whoever you are being late for, you don't live with. So if they're upset with you, your reaction to your wife for making you late, if that's what's happening, you are entitled to be frustrated by being late.
Okay.
And you should tell her in a moment where you're not in a crunch. If she doesn't know this about you already, or doesn't know to the extent, because I think a lot of times in relationships, we know things about people, but maybe you don't realize how much it, someone stews on something and holds it inside and keeps it from you because they don't want to hurt you. But you should be if you're going somewhere and you definitely have to be on time. There are places you have to be on time. If you're not there, you don't you don't get to do said thing. That I really don't want to be late, and I want to do everything I can to make sure that we're out the door at this time. Is there anything I can do to help you? Which is the nicest way you can say, please don't make us late. Do you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But you have to communicate that it's like a pet peeve if you don't like being late and she makes you late. And the other thing is, I would imagine, I don't know how many women who are listening to this would agree with this, but a lot of women will try on a bunch of outfits, put on a varying amount of makeup or not amount of makeup, whatever it might be. And a lot of times what they're doing is struggling with their own self-confidence. They want to look good. They want to look appropriate. Make sure she feels that in a legitimate way. Not, you look fine, let's go. That's not advised. But I would say be willing to be, because how long does it take you to get ready?
4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes, less than 5. That's like 4.8 stars. So 4.5 minutes. How long does it take her to get ready? You're going to a wedding. The wedding starts at 2. You cannot walk in at 2:10.
Oh God, probably like at least 45 minutes, right? For a wedding, which like a wedding, that's like about the nicest event we're going to be attending at this point.
The best thing in a relationship that you can do is start now planning to be 30 minutes, arrive 30 minutes early.
Okay, 30 minutes. That's the number.
But don't think of it as needing to leave 30. Like you need to plan based on the destination of the time that you want to arrive. So if the wedding starts at 2, I'd really like to be in the parking lot by 1:15, 1:30. That's the number that you got to think in your head, so that everything starts working back from there, so that if she takes 10 extra minutes, you're still not late.
Still good.
You gotta really
safety net.
Train yourself to be very comfortable being so early that you don't have to stress about being late.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's good advice though, because if you start saying, 15 minutes ahead of time, we have to leave by this time instead, she's going to figure that out real fast. And then she's going to build that in.
Just set the tone that you like to be early. And I will say this to my husband, specifically when it comes to like driving situations. I get nervous when anybody else drives, but I've been in a few very, very serious car accidents that make it so that I have like a PTSD thing from it. I will say to my husband, and I think I did this for the first time like 5-7 years ago. You are driving completely responsibly right now, and I trust you with the lives of our family, but I am really stressed out right now. So if you could just, like, if you're driving in traffic or whatever, if you could just give a little more buffer room. This is a me thing, not a you thing, but I'm really stressing out right now. So then he can do the thing that causes me, because he loves me, less anxiety, but he also knows that I know that he's not a terrible driver. And my anxiety, like I recognize my anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really more about being honest in that communication. Does that make sense?
No, that's good.
So if you say to your wife, it really stresses me out when we're pushing the deadline here, I'd really like to be there at 1:15 so that we have time to stop by a gas station if we need to, or if we get in traffic, it's no big deal. We can take our time and not have to rush. Would that be okay? And you got to say that early enough that she can plan ahead of time.
Right.
And then if she's 10 minutes late leaving, you have patience. If she's 20 minutes late and you're close to being late for the event, then you get to say something about it probably later, unless you want to ruin your evening.
So do everything possible to like basically to find no reason to where like anything you did contributed to it.
Yeah,
if that makes
because
sense.
if she's going to a wedding and she wants to look great, maybe it's a friend's wedding from high school or something like that, or college, or maybe it's a family, and she's going through a bunch of things up. If she's like trying to get ready and trying on a bunch of stuff, she's probably up there just second guessing herself, which is not something she's going to come to you and be like, I'm really feeling like I'm not, like, I don't have anything to wear or whatever. It's really about her feeling confident in what she's putting on. So she needs less stress in that environment. And that is the trick to getting her done faster, which is meeting your goal.
Ryan, do you struggle with that whole like, oh man, I've tried on 6 outfits, none of them work?
I don't struggle with much. So no.
Okay. Way to have some fun with that one.
I look decent and everything, but not great. It's decent though.
Okay, question for the men here real quick. Do you suffer from the man problem of looking in the refrigerator and not being able to see the ketchup that's on the front of the shelf? When you open it up, you can't see the ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
It does happen.
It does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Does it happen more to you than it happens to your wife?
Ooh. No.
Go up in the closet and get my brown boots. They're sitting in the middle of the closet. I need my brown boots. And you look there like, I can't find them. And then she goes up and she's like, they're right here.
That
and you're
is
like,
the kind of description that I need.
Oh,
because
they are.
She calls. You need to have your big boy eyes. That's what Hannah says to me.
Wow, that's a real thing.
Wow.
I know.
Have you ever seen those memes where it's like, honey, I need the ketchup, and it shows the fridge and the ketchup's right there, and he's like, can't
Where?
find it. And then, but then the bottom of the meme is like, 3 deer, 1 buck, and 2 does, 400 meters off the brim. And it's like, that's my husband.
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
He's always looking for deer
Me too.
I can't figure out
to shoot and kill and eat.
Correct.
Okay.
When my wife sends me to the store with a list, I can't find anything.
I said,
it's like, oh, you need salt. No, that doesn't
they
exist.
don't have salt at Walmart.
Yeah.
I'll say to
They're
my
out.
husband, we need bananas, we need diapers, and we need milk. And then I'll say, you need to get 3 things. What are they? Bananas, diapers, and milk. He'll tell me. And then he'll go in and he'll see that they have lettuce. And he knows that we need lettuce. And he'll get lettuce and diapers and milk. And he'll be like, 3 things. And I'll come home. I'll be like, where are the bananas? And he'll be like, he just will go, oh. And he walks out and he'll go back if it's a necessity. But
I do the same thing.
we have a keep list now. It's a digital check the box thing. So he's actually pretty good at it now. He does all the shopping. All right. If we have more questions, if you guys have any more that have to be asked, I got a couple more on the Facebook page we can ask when we return. We've also got the YouTube live chat poll. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Is it too much, too fast? Do we need to see him doing more? You think it's just right, or Trump is awful? You get all of those options. And if you go to youtube.com/@AnnieFry, that live broadcast that's taking place right now, you can vote in the live chat. We'll be right back.
It's a revolution, I suppose.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
aircomfortservice.com 314-513-0091. Air Comfort Service has done something specifically for you if you are in the need of an HVAC replacement. As regulations are apt to do, they've made the cost to install, manufacture their new units more expensive, like 20% price increases on these new units. So what Air Comfort Service did is they stocked up on 2024 equipment, and they are offering it to you at 2024 pricing. Those savings, they're passing them along to you because they want to make sure that you get the very best when you shop at Air Comfort Service. A HVAC system, if it is around 10 years old, if you've had to add refrigerant to your air conditioner in recent years, you want to call 314-513-0091. You can get a free estimate and talk about upgrading your system at 2024 prices, plus be eligible for Carrier Cool Cash rebates up to $1,700. aircomfortservice.com.
This could be the number 1 tax saving strategy for your retirement savings, and it's hidden inside IRS tax code section 1.408A-4. Discover what it is and how you can make your money go further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey, it's Sue Thomas, and this is a one-night class. It's taught by advisors from financial and tax architects. They have decades of financial planning experience, and they hold these at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis, and you'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing Social Security, paying for health care, and more. And they do it for free, but bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are a few openings left for classes this month, so register now by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. That's 314-947-2012.
I love the way he articulates things together, examples with all his stage members up there at all different levels, which is wonderful to see and inspiring.
That's Orlando on his Expo experience. It's coming again. Join Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited for Expo 2025, May 7th through the 10th in Irving, Texas. Get hands-on training from successful real estate investors and learn proven strategies that work. Find out more and save $100 when you text Expo to 88007, EXPO to 88007.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We're about to get the results of the poll. You still have a couple minutes to vote. How do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? Is it too much, too fast? Is it that he needs to be doing more? Is it just right? Or Trump is awful? We gave you the fourth option there. YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. We'll give the results here in just a couple minutes. 2:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon. Big night for the Blues tonight. Our own Ethan Hannaford's going to preview and some amazing audio from John Gruden on the Blues of all sources. Also, Selena Zito coming up at 3:25. We got Sue's News in the 4 o'clock hour. It's all coming up after Fox News.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Well, don't waste time. Give me the sign. Tell me how you want to roll. I want somebody to speed it up for me, then take it down slow. There's enough room for both.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The poll question. We want to know how you feel about the pace of the Trump administration. You've got a couple minutes to get that in. We're going to give you those results in about 6 minutes from now. But we got a few X's and Y's question. X's and Y's.
X's and Y's.
You said you still had one, so why don't we pick
All
up
right.
from here?
Do you really get chocolate cravings? You know what I mean?
This is a difficult one because I think that women do, but I don't really.
Oh yeah?
I don't mind chocolate, but I don't know that I've ever in my life been like, I need chocolate.
Oh man, my wife loves chocolate.
Do you have
and
chocolate at your house?
Yeah. I think the reason
Maybe
we don't
instead
have
of-
chocolate is that she eats it. So we gotta keep buying it. And that's a problem.
You should have some really nice chocolate that you just sit aside, and when she needs a pick-me-up, you'd be like, hey, honey.
I always tell her to go down to the Golden Corral, stick your face in that fountain. Must be this. Must be Golden Corral time of the month.
It's just a steady flow of women coming in here and giving themselves a facial in the chocolate fountain. I don't think this has anything to do with my distaste for the face, but could be related. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Brad?
So you say that it is real though.
I think women do crave chocolate. I will say, and this is a little bit in the weeds, I'll say what I'm going to say, and if you want to ask more questions, you can. But there are times where I will crave red meat and iron.
That makes sense.
Isn't that like anemic?
Blood loss.
Yeah. that seems like a different
I'll be
thing.
like, I need a steak or a cheeseburger or something, because you just kind of start to feel.
I remember when my
lethargic.
wife was pregnant that
Yeah.
she would say, I'm, and it's a thing, like, if you're saying this, I want to smell caves or I want to eat dirt. And it's it's an iron thing.
Yeah.
It very much, people will say, yeah, if you say that or you think that at all.
Kate says on YouTube, she said, yes, me too. So that's interesting. Because I would crave red meat more than I've ever craved chocolate. Next question, Brad.
All right. And I'm going to preface this by saying this is just something that has always perplexed me, and it's not something that I'm currently dealing with. But
Here we go.
I am so excited for this question.
Why do girls play hard to get whenever they're dating or in that courting phase?
Define what hard to get is.
Well, it's like I've experienced this more by talking to friends who are girls that were wanting a guy to like them, and then the guy would like ask them out, and they'd be like, I don't know. And then they would like basically turn them down. And like 10 minutes ago, they were telling me, I really want this person to ask me out. And they make the guy ask them 2 to 3 or 4
So you said
times.
this isn't right now. Is this in high school?
It was in high school and afterwards, but yeah, it's always just like, but you like him and he likes you, or at
To
least
me,
he's
all of that
interested.
sounds very immature. So I'm wondering if the time frame for something like that is just due to the fact that girls at that age generally want to be liked and feel liked, which I understand, and they don't know how to handle that whole like the desire to be liked and appreciated and to feel worthy of being liked at that level. I think that guys feel exactly the same way and in their own right have no idea what they're doing in high school. So mistakes are made. And I have a lot of patience for that as an old person looking back on, especially with my son being a 15-year-old boy and being around teenage boys in such a different world as a mom right now. And like seeing, I don't know. I don't say too much, but they don't really think a lot about things. They're just interested in the silliest, most entertaining things right there in that moment. And that's not what girls are not doing that at that time. So while girls are playing hard to get, I wouldn't be surprised if guys are not thinking hard enough about what they're trying to get. So does that make sense?
That 100% makes sense.
Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate that.
This is related to that.
Mm-hmm.
Do girls really like bad boys?
Heck
and if
yeah,
so,
they do.
what makes a boy a bad boy?
It's not, I don't know that it's unhealthy, but it's not the most healthy thing. You want to be the reason that they change. You want to inspire
That's why?
them. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you just kind of were attracted to the dangerousness.
They want to tame the beast.
No, you want to be, I don't really think that girls who want relationships are looking for a bad boy to stay bad. You want the bad boy who changed for you. It's like did you not watch any movies about high school romantic relationships?
No. Those are terrible.
Is that why, like,
ladies in the chat, help me out.
Is that why, like, the fantasy novels, like, girls are always interested in vampires or something like that?
Which novels have you read?
No,
I've never read a fantasy or romantic
No, I'm just.
novel.
He was
like,
Team Edward, I can tell you that.
But like, yeah, I was gonna say Twilight was so popular.
Team
and it was,
George.
It was about a girl who basically was trying to decide between a vampire and a werewolf, and
they were both bad boys.
A lot of quote unquote bad boys are, especially kids. And again, like being an adult and looking at how kids are going through life, a lot of kids who are air quotes bad boys are acting out because the circumstances that they're living in suck. And so they're reacting, they're angry at something. Maybe it's a broken relationship in their family, or maybe they lost a loved one or something like that. And they're angry about it. But that doesn't mean that that's the sum total of who they are. They can be very sweet about other things, or maybe you notice that what they're doing is more of a shell on the outside, and you want to be the thing that penetrates the shell on the outside to bring out the good. And think about from that type of intellectual place, think about how powerful it would make someone feel to make someone who was bad be good. Again, I'm not saying that's the healthiest way.
Wouldn't that be the same in reverse then? Wouldn't boys want to date a bad girl? And
no,
that
that's way too much work. Well, yes. Boys would like to be with a bad girl.
Yeah. Temporarily.
Yeah. I said what I said.
Which one of the Backstreet Boys do you think was the baddest?
AJ, are you kidding me?
I was going to say AJ too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I was a Brian Luttrell fan.
He's not a bad boy.
He played baseball.
He was the baseball
And
Backstreet Boy.
they don't call him Baseball Annies for nothing. I was not a Baseball Annie, just for the record.
I don't even know what that means. Is that like a groupie for baseball?
Did you ever see Bull Durham?
It's been a long time.
Susan Sarandon, she's Annie.
She's a
It's a cleat chaser.
Okay.
I was into baseball.
Are baseball players bad boys?
No, they're kind of the opposite.
Like Brian Luttrell.
I don't really know. That might have been just an image. Baseball players, like on the scheme of like professional athletes, baseball players, like you kind of have an idea of what a baseball player is. They hunt in the off season and they
have great hair.
Maybe they have hat hair and it still looks good. They seem to be more inclined to be family oriented. It's not like it's true, like it's any more than football players or basketball players or hockey players. Hockey players, if you think about a hockey player, you're thinking they're kind of nuts, right?
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit.
Like they could be nuts if they had to.
I don't know. I don't think about that.
Women have.
Like I think that about
some hockey
vampires and werewolves, but not hockey players.
I haven't thought about vampires and werewolves.
I think in an instant, man, that vampire could really turn.
In like a
That's why I just
relationship way?
Yeah.
So you're not into bad boys or girls. You're into
fictional characters.
Weird.
I'm always in the sun. Like stay away.
This is weird.
It is weird. It's a weird way to end the show.
Take us home, Ethan.
Gladly. 302 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll, which asks, how do you feel about the pace of the Trump administration? This one, not that close today. 61% say just right. 26% say he needs to be doing more. 9% too much too fast. And only 4% say Trump is awful.
What is 4% of 312? 12 people? Thanks, guys. Mark Reardon, next.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son, Mike. In addition to the comp case, there is a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile.